Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is May 5th, 2019. My name's Eric Peterson. Joining me today, Mr. Tom Reagan.
What's up, guys? It's me.
It's me, Mr. Dan Curtis.
May the force be with you.
Oh, Jesus, can we just end it now? Mike, get your Star Wars jokes out of the way.
I-E-R-O-O Factory Sealed Podcast.
May the 5th be with you all.
Oh, Jesus Christ, it's Revenge of the 5th, you idiots!
No, it's May the 5th be with you.
Yeah.
That sounds
May
so
the
much
6th.
better.
May the 6th
Well,
be
it
with
doesn't
us.
make any sense, does it?
Yeah, but neither
It's
does
over,
May
Eric.
the
Mike
4th.
has the high ground.
Oh, God, no. Then I'm going to go to the higher ground and do May the 6th be with you.
That still doesn't make any sense.
It sounds closer to Sith than... No, it doesn't.
May the Sith be with you.
No, the 6 is Merry Sithless.
Do we just have a date for everything?
No, I've just made that one up, so...
Well, tell the Star Wars people they can milk the shit out of that one as well.
Dear Disney!
Let me hammer this note out.
Dear Disney, I would like a Star Wars day for every single day of the year, please. Thanks.
You know how bad that day is? Christy woke me up saying that yesterday. You guys know how much I hate that. She rolls over and goes, May the 4th be with you. I'm like, oh my God, can it just be over?
Remind me to give her a high five.
Screaming
when I see it.
fuck you in the face.
Oh God, I hate that.
That's brilliant.
It was neat, like the first 5 minutes of the first day that, you know, people really ever made a thing out of it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's kind of neat. And then it just turned into garbage.
What happened? What made you suddenly change?
It's so dumb.
What it is, Tom, this is the long and short of it.
Okay.
But that's what you
Eric doesn't like
usually.
people enjoying themselves.
Oh no, I like people enjoying themselves, believe me.
Well, in that case, Eric, Revenge of the Sith to you, my friend. Revenge of the 5th, even I'd done it wrong.
Yeah.
It's too confusing, Mike.
No, it's May the 5th.
That's it, restart the show.
It's May the 5th be with you.
May the 6th be with you. May the 7th be with you. May the 8th be with you.
I'm just gonna take. I'm gonna take the
What's after 8 again?
7.
Oh yeah. May the 7th be with you.
Second 7.
Second 7.
Oh, in het actually we just count to 3 and then say many, so that's what we do.
Tune the many.
1, 2, many, lot many, many more.
They must get
More many.
must get confused when they watch Star Trek for the many, not for the few.
I like the American way of counting, though.
I just got that quote wrong. God, the Trekkies are going to kill me.
2.
Another one. Another one.
We only know how to count to 1 because we're number 1. That's all we need to know.
What about those Star Wars people with the Roman numerals, though? What are those guys doing? Final Fantasy X
Dash 2.
Dash 2.
How is everybody?
Hang on. Going on the we just say many in het. Is that what you just call? Like the Final Fantasy games must get confusing after the third one.
Oh yeah.
Have you played Final Fantasy Many? Oh no, I haven't. But I've played Final Fantasy Many. It's not quite as good as Many, but
I really like I really like Final Fantasy Many 2. That was really good. What about Final Fantasy Many Tactics? That was great.
just a few tactics.
Why do I give you ammunition? Honestly,
Because you live in a place
who
called
ahead?
Het. You should move
you
back.
live in a place called Phoenix.
Yeah, which is awesome. It's a dead bird rising from the ashes.
You can't go, it's awesome, it's a dead bird.
Eric just whenever he sees a dead bird outside the road, gets off his car and admires it. But that's awesome.
Rise, my phoenix.
I'm going to put this on my Instagram.
Why isn't this rising like my city did?
Hashtag dead bird. Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag no filter.
May the 5th be with you, dead bird.
Full circle.
So dumb.
Eric's a bird spotter, but he just goes searching for dead birds.
It's a whole lot
Little
easier.
journal.
He's had a lot of jobs, but that's a new one, I think.
Right up there with professional mosquito
They
killer.
call him the dead bird twitcher at Phoenix.
Stands out in the desert with his anorak on, with a prodding stick to prod to see if they're dead or not.
Yeah,
Some say they're seeing him in the dead of night, looking for dead birds by the side of the road.
This one's still got a bit of life in him. I can't log that in the book.
They say he carries a spade, just in case there's still a little bit alive.
You should see how excited he gets at Thanksgiving when the turkey comes out.
Ooh. Put this one in the journal.
Excuse me while I go clean up. It's like that turkey's been basted with a ghost. I've been off for a month. I need to get this out.
That's a long time to build it up.
Yeah.
It is.
It's quite the ghost attack.
Well, how are you, gentlemen?
Good.
How are you all doing?
Good.
I'm good. I'm pretty damn spiffing.
I've been on Flobby Wibble.
Oh,
The Wibs?
Yeah,
did you-
I've been at work for about over 2 weeks now.
Jesus, how are you going to go back tomorrow?
Tuesday.
and you cleaned up your truck because someone else used it.
Oh, Jesus Christ! What a fucking disgrace that was. So for the listeners, my lorry would get used whilst I was off, and I went to go put some stuff in it yesterday, and I sent the guys the photos. Jesus Christ, it was absolutely trashed inside. I was not happy. If I'd walked into work at like 5 o'clock on Tuesday morning and seen that, I would have walked straight back out. Really would have.
God.
Fuck you, all good sir.
Yeah. 5 a.m, like, not going to be in a good mood anyway.
Yeah, after 19 days off work.
Yeah. Serious post-holiday blues, and then you walk into your lorry and it's
There's just shit
not how you left it.
everywhere. Yeah.
Do you know the guy
even.
who's driving it?
No idea. It was probably multiple guys, to be honest, but it was just ugh.
Did they have their
The
own
thing is, like,
dedicated semis?
Yeah. We do, but basically they'll use mine as a spare whilst
Go
I'm
find
off,
out
and
who
then
it was and take a dump on their seat and then put a seat cover over it so that they can't see it.
So they use yours as a spare. So I take it there are spares anyway.
Well, there's usually always someone on holiday, so if they need a spare lorry, they'll use it. Yeah. So
Okay.
at any one time, there's usually at least one.
So
person
does that
off,
mean one person is always without a lorry and they have to get spares?
No, well, so for example, this is a really dull subject, but so for example, like if one of them breaks down in the daytime and they still need it for a night driver, they can use it for a night driver. For example.
Driver 84, spare truck driver.
Stationary truck.
I
Wait,
got
don't
it.
think
yeah,
we've
I
actually
went
mentioned- have we mentioned Mike's stationary lorry?
I
on
don't
the
think
show
we have.
before?
Mike is a professional truck sitter.
So we've decided that while Mike is technically a truck driver, he does not drive said truck anywhere because he just constantly seems to be either blocked in by something or he's just not moving. Because he's always sending us pictures in his truck. And we're like, are you not going anywhere again? You know, he's just sitting on his arse, playing on his Switch in his stationary lorry.
Sometimes have a nap as well. Great.
Nice.
I mean,
Perks
it's a
of
good
the
job,
job.
Mike. I'm not going to lie. Like, you just get to go in and sit in a lorry, pretend you're working, play some video games. It's a cracking job.
Well, some places just take their time, like loading and unloading, don't they? So
Yeah, everybody load up Google and type in Bert's Stationary Truck Company. That's where Mike works.
Bert, is Bert involved?
That is his cousin Bort.
I forgot about
It
Bort.
might be Bort's always the
Bort
what
and
he does
Jive.
things wrong.
Do you remember Bort's accent, Dan? I was just listening to that clip the other day.
No, I don't think I do.
Oh, God. I'll have to send that to you.
Oh, Bort.
He was
Hangs out
super
with Jives quite
posh
often.
and fancy. Oh, Oh, bird!
Really don't remember.
Oh god, it was
Also possibly quite gay.
It's very likely.
He's just a bit flamboyant.
By no means a bad thing, but that's just what happened.
So fancy.
But no, with my time off, I went on holiday. I didn't go to say at Lanzarote this time.
No, he's got the new Say at Tenerife! Now with twice the soundproofing for all your Mike Tyson needs.
It's pretty much the next...
Just like Mike's lorry, this car ain't going anywhere.
Comes with an optional engine.
Put your feet.
To be fair, they shouldn't give me an engine because we know what I do to engines. So they shouldn't give me one.
You don't lube it up.
Have you been on since your Wattmobile died?
Yeah.
That was his last episode that he
They
was
took.
on.
Yeah.
They,
Oh, is that the end?
Yomus and Eric were together at the time and may have took the piss quite extensively.
Oh yeah.
A little bit.
May or may not.
A little bit.
Because we do video calls now, I could see the way they were looking at each other like, what a fucking idiot. You're right, I am.
If only someone had told me.
To be fair, I've never had my car serviced.
Well, because we were talking about it when we weren't even on the call. We were like, that oil light doesn't just happen. Like, you don't just suddenly, your car just doesn't suddenly die like that without warning. I bet he hasn't put any oil in. Nah, he definitely would have done that. That's like...
There was oil in there, it's just been there for a long time.
5 years.
A man not mainly use cooking oil.
Can I just top it up with water? Who needs lube?
Crystal, we got any of that there Dr. Pepper in there?
Put some Sweet Baby Ray's in that there engine.
Oh yeah, thanks, Mike. Mike's just showing me that they've got Sweet Baby Ray's down at Lidl, so if I ever need any new oil for my car, I'll just go get that. I'll be fine.
Any car will take that.
They had the standard barbecue and they had the honey barbecue, so...
I don't think I've tried the honey barbecue.
Any car worth its salt will accept Sweet Baby Ray's as engine oil. Otherwise, it's not my
That's how
kind
you know
of car.
it's American built.
I thought it'd just be corn syrup.
Oh yeah, corn. I mean, just anything highly unhealthy, straight lard, would be great.
Crystal, hand me the hearts of palm. They're a delicious treat and great for engine oil.
Hey, you found Hearts of Palm, didn't you, in the UK?
I did. They were in
didn't even know we
Tesco.
did.
Living the dream. Found
Can't
them.
believe that.
The tinned version, though, are they less quality? Are they less as delicious and less of a treat?
They didn't say delicious treat on them.
Somebody should call them up and tell them that they're missing out on a
And there wasn't
great tagline.
there wasn't a designated NPC trying to
It's
plug them
also
either.
livers of palms. Slightly not as much.
That sounds
Not as much of it. Not as nice of an organ in a tin.
I love liver.
Toenails
Although you
of
say
palm.
that-
They're fucking awful.
I've eaten liver, but I've never eaten heart, so...
You've never eaten heart? Like
No.
chicken heart or anything?
You can get bags
No,
of
no,
chicken
actually,
hearts over here.
Oh, the
Yeah,
gizzards
you
are so
can.
good.
Dirty bastards.
I've never had them, but like you can get bags of hearts for about $5.
Nice.
And if you look at them, you're like, oh, that's about 50 chickens for a $5.
Jesus Christ.
Pretty bad.
Speaking of gross things to eat, like me and Hazel went out for a meal last night because it was her birthday earlier this week, and
Happy birthday, Basil.
she wanted to go. She really likes seafood. I can't fucking stand it, and she wanted to go to a seafood restaurant because they did like live grilled lobster. I was like, okay, all right, we'll go and order it. And like, just the monstrosity that came out on the plate. Like Eric, you said it looked delicious. I was just like, no.
It
maybe
may
not.
look crazy,
I'm
but
with you,
I
Mike.
love
It looked
lobster.
awful.
Oh, it's so good.
It's really good. It may look wild, but
I don't know if I've ever been anywhere fancy enough to have lobster.
there's places in London that do
Damn,
it pretty
lobster
cheap.
isn't fancy.
Yeah, London.
It's essentially-
Dan's favourite place, London.
It's essentially
know.
the sea cockroach. It's not fancy.
It's like in London you can get lobster roll. It's like just the lobster meat in a roll. It's amazing, and it's like £8.
That's a fancy Greg's.
I know.
I think the only time I didn't
the new lobster bake.
the only time I didn't enjoy lobster, I was in Boston, and you walk in and there's a big tank of lobster.
Boston.
Boston, and you get to pick the lobster that you want. Like, I want that one. And the person reaches in, puts it on a plate, and takes it and sticks it in what looks like this industrial microwave. And then do
you know what they should do with that? They should put a crane game on it for you to get your own lobster. Like, if you're real hungry.
And then it just drops it into the pot of boiling water next to
you. Now, apparently, when you put a lobster in boiling water, you can hear it scream.
It's not screaming, it's the air escaping from the shell.
It's the tiny screams.
But when they brought it out, they didn't crack it open or anything. It was basically just the actual lobster, and all they'd done is like made a slit above its head that you could just rip it open and just start tearing into it. That's the only time I didn't enjoy it.
And what was the reason you didn't enjoy it?
Because its eyeballs are looking at you, and you rip open its head, and there's its minuscule pea brain and all of its guts.
Oh my god!
Because you only eat the tail.
Oh yeah.
What a waste.
It's delicious.
Poor lobsters.
Anyway.
All right, Bezies with the lobsters.
This is a video game podcast, by the way.
Welcome to the Seafood Podcast.
Says who?
I mean, the first hour of every show says it's not.
Hey, at least hopefully, who knows what will happen in the edit. We won't be listening via tin cans this week. I think the audio quality is okay.
I adjusted it last week, but it was still kind of strange.
Isn't it just our luck that someone decided their first episode happened to be one where the audio was a bit
Well, like
shit?
I said, we're not particularly set up to record locally, so when two of us do get together, it's kind of a hodgepodge of let's talk into this microphone and hope it works.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
We got there in the end.
Hey, at least we put something out.
We do our best.
Do we?
Mostly.
Do we?
So
I feel like the podcast has aged like a fine wine into the stupidity and nonsense that it is today.
It takes quite the sommelier to appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
We went through the days of the Great Biscuit debate. We did the whole sit and stand thing, and now we've just embraced the idiocy.
Sommelier, Mike. They are people who are highly educated and specifically trained in wine. They can tell you what side of a hill and the type of dirt the grapes were grown per year.
Oh, how do you say that word? Because I'd missed it the second time.
I detect a hint of
I believe it's sommelier.
You know,
that sounds like really enjoyable to say, like smorgasbord. Like it's really just pleasing to say.
Or Worcestershire
Why don't you try and say it, Mike, instead of why don't you try it on?
try this on for size.
Try this with on.
I don't even know what you said, so.
You know, we played.
He said like Somalia, but with sommelier on the end.
It's a fancier Somalia.
Semolina.
Nice,
Salmonella.
like
Just go with salmonella.
Salmonella?
Can you still get semolina? You always used to get it with your school lunch.
Thumbelina?
Yeah. I don't know if you still can or not. Probably.
And,
I don't know if foods die out, do they?
Anybody else used to get green custard with their...
What is
Green
up with
custard?
you guys in disgusting food?
Green custard? What?
green
Is it
custard,
just moldy?
yes?
They're like, hey,
What?
feed this shit to the kids.
Right.
They won't
No,
know.
Eric,
it
I
was
wanna be
made-
clear.
it was
Eric,
made
I wanna be
green to
clear.
make custard more exciting.
Green custard is not a British thing. I have no idea what Dan's on about here.
You guys
It
eat
is a British thing.
burnt pig's blood in the shape of a hockey puck.
Hey. Black pudding is fucking delicious.
Black
No,
pudding
it's
is
not.
really good.
You eat chicken hearts, you feckin' weirdo.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Green custard. Let's see what this comes up as. Oh, that looks like the ectoplasm Kool-Aid that we used to get as kids.
Oh, yeah.
Surely that shit was
Ecto-Kool-Aid.
not good for you.
Nothing
Which-
was in the 90s, Eric.
Did
We
you
didn't
guys get
have all these
ectoplasm
things.
Kool-Aid?
In 90s America must have been pretty wild.
Oh, dude, it was great.
Yeah. The kids must have been bouncing off the walls.
Mike,
Yeah.
did you get ectoplasm Kool-Aid?
The Ecto-Cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah,
High
I
C,
don't know. I'm too
Ecto-Cooler.
young to know if we got it or not.
That stuff was so good.
I don't think Kool-Aid's not really very big over here, though, is it?
No,
Kind of
it's
in the
not.
import shops.
Well, I
but-
guess actually this wasn't Kool-Aid. This was high C. So it was high in
Yeah,
vitamin
high
C,
C.
so therefore it was good for you.
It took me a while to understand the reference of people saying drinking the Kool-Aid.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't really understand what that meant. And the Family Guy joke where a Kool-Aid Jug would burst through a wall and go, "Oh yeah!"
That joke was lost on you, wasn't it?
It was. A lot of stuff like that was lost on me.
So I want to share a video game story. Not even really a story, but I successfully, after much trial and tribulation, have modded my original Game Boy.
What?
Yes.
Still think you should have done a Game Boy Color, but...
Well, I didn't have a Game Boy Color.
Does it now cook
Why not?
toast?
You own everything else.
True.
How do you not have a Game Boy Color, dude? I must say, though, that there's something about the old brick Game Boy.
Let me tell you what,
So-
that has breathed new life into that console to the point where we were going on a car ride across town and I brought it with me. So I'm like, I can play this shit in the car now.
Yes, but I must go back to our WhatsApp chat where I said you will not do this and it will just live on the shelf forevermore.
It's back there on the shelf.
Wrapped in plastic.
No, I've actually taken it off and played a
That's how he modded it, Mike. He just wrapped it up in cling film.
I resealed it.
What did you actually change?
Did you guys
then?
ever have the huge, like... Because our Game Boy when we were a kid, you had this huge, like, magnifying glass light clunked onto the top of it.
Yeah.
And then, like, had, like, little lights that just shined on the screen, but then you still couldn't see it because the lights would reflect off the screen.
I remember
Then
that.
for the Game Boy Color, I had the one which was on like a bendy wire. where
Yeah.
you could,
Little snake
you could,
guy,
like-
yeah.
Yeah, and
that's
that
the one I
had
had.
exactly the same problem.
No, so I added a backlight to it, and then I put on what's called a bivert filter. So the Game Boy screens are really interesting in that I didn't know this, but it's actually a clear piece of glass that displays all the pixels. So it's not like a normal LCD where it's lit up from behind and all of that. So they put a piece of weird polarizing film on the back that, kind of like polarizing sunglasses, where if you're looking at a light and you turn your head, you can kind of see it go light to dark, light to dark. Well, they've set the polarizing film so that it shows you the pixels. So I had to disassemble the entire thing, and you can't actually pull the full screen off. You get like maybe a half-inch clearance to open the screen, and then you have to use like this craft knife and cut down through all these layers of the polarizing film. Well, I thought I got through all of them, and I didn't. So then I had to go back and do the whole process again, which was even more difficult because I didn't have like the sticky stuff on top to grip. But once you get that off, I had to spend probably half an hour removing this industrial-grade concrete and adhesive from the back of this screen when you couldn't open it very far. But dropped the backlight in there, soldered some cables. I'd never soldered electronics before. I'm like, well, this seems like a good product to start with. But through the backlight in...
Have you ever soldered one?
I knew you were going to say that.
No, I
what
did
I
not,
was thinking
because it's pronounced solder.
Solder.
Why is there an L in it?
Silent, just like herbs.
Well, what an absolute waste of time when you write it down.
You guys are the ones who add extra U's to everything. You're in no
We
position to talk.
invented this language, dickhead!
Did you?
And when he says we, he means me, Tom, and himself.
Oh, good. Representatives. I'm glad we have the representatives of the English language.
As somebody who lives in the 1700s, I was probably around when it was made, so fuck off.
Sorry, Eric, go on.
No, so since
Was he soldering?
when you put the backlight in, if you just close it up, nothing will show because it's just a light shining through this clear screen. So they give you a little piece of polarizing film that you need to drop in. So you have to hold it up to another screen to figure out which direction to drop it in. If you drop it in, everything is perfect, but the contrast on it is kind of bad. So they give you this bivert module that you have to lift some microscopic pins up off of another chip, slip it under, resolder it, and then solder some other points that are drilled through it, and then a ground cable and all of
Every time
that.
you say that, a little part of me dies.
Yes,
Solder.
me too. It's doing my head in.
I'm just going to keep going with it then. So when you do that and close it back up and turn it on, everything is inverted. So everything, all the pixels that were on were off, and all the ones that were off are on. So everything looks demonic. So I think I sent you guys a picture of Zelda when it was biverted. So then you have to take the whole thing back apart. And I knew not to do that. I knew that I had to do this beforehand because I watched the entire video. So when I set the polarizing film, I set it the opposite of what I was supposed to, because then you install the bivert and then it corrects it. So you have to go back in and twist the little polarizing film and everything's good. But it was an insane amount of trial and error because when I first turned it on, it was super bright. but it just didn't look right. And maybe I was thinking to myself, like, well, maybe I'm misremembering how these games looked. I turned on Link's Awakening, and like details in the grass were missing, and on the floor of the dungeons were missing. I'm like, well, maybe this is just how it is. But then I started reading about it, and they're like, no, you got to go back and reflow the solder on the bivert. So I had to spend a good 2 hours tearing this thing apart, reflowing and pulling solder. And pulling solder off of something is a pain in the ass because you need this, it's called soldering braid. I see you, Dan. It's like this, it's like copper that has been really tightly woven that you lay over the top of the solder, and then you just heat it up and it sucks all the solder up. And then you have to reflow everything. And long story short, I eventually got it right. And then a bunch of the lines on the screen, were dead. And I didn't know how to fix that. So
they were being a right solder.
No, actually, there was no Arai solder on that. On the front of the LCD screen, there's a ribbon cable that connects to it, and apparently
Tom didn't even laugh at Mike's joke. What's going on?
He did. He had a little chuckle. I saw him.
Oh, okay.
There's a ribbon cable that connects to it, and you just take the heat gun, and you just start applying heat to this, and it fixes all those lines. So, long story short, I have a really bright DMG Game Boy.
So how did that how long did that take? From start to finish.
Including trial and error and fixing fuck-ups?
Many hours.
3 hours, maybe. 4 hours.
Yeah, that's not bad,
but
to be fair.
I was right. Many hours. There you go.
If it was more than 3, that's many. I could probably do it again in 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Now that I know what to do. I've taken that thing apart
sounds like a challenge.
Yeah.
You could just solder on and do it.
I could just soldier on. So,
no, he said solder on.
I know.
Do you get it, Eric?
I'm a soldering soldier.
You're a sod. That's what you are.
Like, back to the original subject, though, I don't think I'd be brave enough to do that. Even though Game Boys are fucking cheap as chips to find these days most of the time.
Well,
I had to use a soldering iron at school once, and it did not go well. So
get one and bring it to Phoenix.
Bring what?
A Game Boy. Eric, you'll help us out, wouldn't you?
I mean, I could, yeah. It wasn't that expensive of a mod.
Yeah, you can get it on the is it Handheld Legend or something?
Yep, that's where I got it. So I bought the backlight. I had to buy a tri-wing screwdriver because I didn't have one, and the bivert module. Oh, and then I bought a new glass screen because mine was all scratched up. So you pop that out, drop the new one in, and I bought a battery cover, and all of that came to $26.
Wow!
But then I had
to be honest.
What's that?
I said bargain.
Yeah. Then I had to buy a soldering gun for $26, and then some extra solder for $9. So $50 into it.
A soldering gun.
Yeah.
What do you mean by a gun?
We live in America. Everything's a gun.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm asking.
It's an iron, isn't it?
It's an iron.
Yeah, same thing. Guns, iron.
So you call
Christy,
it a soldering
gun. Are you gunning my clothes again?
Yeah, just shoot holes in it. No, you're right. It is.
Why are you gunning
iron.
socks?
See, what you don't know is that when we're not at Eric's house, they just use gun for everything.
Yeah, play that VR
Christy,
game.
would you make me a gun of gun? Yeah, I fancy a gun. Yeah, me too. Could you pass me the gun over? Oh, yeah. Okay. What are you making for gun? I was thinking of making gun with a side of gun.
What's that you're pouring on your food there, Eric? Oh, that's sweet baby gun.
But yeah, that was a fun mod. I would like to do an AGS 101 screen into an original Game Boy Advance, but those screens are expensive.
Yeah, they're about $100, aren't they?
Yeah, right now they're averaging about $80 to $90 just for the screen. Then you need to buy the adapter cables and all of that stuff. So you're probably looking $100 to mod that. And since I wouldn't want to mod my original GBA that I had, I'd have to buy another one, but those are only like $20. So I'd probably be looking at $110 just to get that. Not quite worth it. So if I ever stumble upon a stupid deal on a GBA SP with the 101 screen, I'll probably tear it out.
Why? So what would be the benefit of putting that screen in there?
So the original Game Boy Advance form factor is far more comfortable than the SP.
Right.
So taking the higher resolution screen, and dropping it in.
Sorry, I misunderstood what you said a moment. You said if I find an SP, I'll do it. I thought you meant you were putting the screen in an SP. Sorry.
No. You take the screen out of the SP and put it in the original form factor.
I understand now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's cool.
I did like the form of the old Game Boy Advance.
Me too.
Yeah.
They like the Game Gear shape, like the landscape shape.
Yeah. It's just
I
more
really like
comfortable.
that console.
It's worth mentioning that Santos Lopez sent me an amazing goodie box of games. So in there was one of the NES Game Boy Advance SPs, which is, it didn't have the AGS 101 screen, but it had the front lit screen. And I've never spent a lot of time playing on an SP, but I'm starting to play through Golden Sun. Big hands aren't the best for those SPs. They were definitely more geared towards smaller child size hands. So I would like to take one of those screens and drop it into an original GBA.
It was such a strange design choice not to put a light in the GBA originally.
I think it was meant to keep costs down, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the original GBA was like $99 when it came out.
Yeah, it's a pricey piece of kit.
Yeah,
but still,
it was.
I could have been a selling factor for them in a way.
But the game, you just look at it now.
Because they know the struggles. Like, everyone who owned a Game Boy Color knows the struggles of trying to play that thing in the dark, or just the wrong lighting,
or trying to play it at all.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got through Pokemon Red.
I don't know how I played
a cool console.
Link's Awakening on the original Game Boy. I just don't know how I physically enjoyed that.
Yeah, me neither.
Simpler times, my friend. That was
kids these days and their damn MTV
LCDs.
and backlit
damn
OLEDs.
Damn switcheroos with their rooftop parties.
And the soldering guns. But no, you weren't spoiled then. You didn't know any better.
Yeah, I loved it.
Was it last episode when we were with Zach and I said to you, have you gone back and looked at some of the early PS3 games and how terrible they look? But at the time, they were phenomenal. Look at PS2. Can you remember when we first saw the PS2 graphics?
Oh God, I can see the eyes on the people in Madden. Gah.
I know.
But I went. So since I've done
look at
this,
the quality of that fog on Silent Hill 2.
Since I've done this, I've gone back through and just played a chunk of each of the Game Boy games that I have, and then now that I have this SP that I can actually see the games, I've kind of cycled through it, and there's some phenomenal handheld games. Like Tom and I are starting to play through Golden Sun, and Jesus, that game looks good. It's so interesting that it was designed and developed for a console that had a screen that was such shit resolution initially, that if you drop it into something like a DS Lite that could play the Game Boy Advance games, it's incredible how gorgeous those games can be. They just weren't...
Game Boy Advance is just a console I completely skipped.
Oh, it's such a good console, man.
so
like
much
Minish
on
Cap. You'd love Minish Cap.
That's good. I played through Final Fantasy VI for the first time on the Game Boy Advance. It was the emulated version, and I thought that was pretty good.
It's a good version. I think is it Final Fantasy Advance? Is that what it's called? Or is it just...
They're all called
six?
Final Fantasy whatever Advance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think 6 Advance is expensive right now.
Final Fantasy Mini Advance.
Advance Wars was another great game on that machine. Even Tony Hawk's was good.
Yeah.
Sonic Advance was pretty good.
Because Tony Hawk's was like an isometric...
That's where all the Mega Man Zero games were, so that clearly there is where...
God, here we go.
What about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Mini?
Don't think that one made the GBA.
But that one will make the book, right, Dan?
Yes. For those of you who are unaware, this Christmas I'm going to be publishing Mike Tyson dad jokes. So if you'd like to register your interest, just go on the Facebook group and tell me about it. I will make it.
Oh God, it's going to be terrible.
Some other good games. Mario and Luigi
I just have to look
Superstar.
back through WhatsApp for months, and they'd just be a gold mine of Mike Tyson dad jokes, closely followed by Tom's pissing himself emojis.
Tom, you were saying?
No, just some other GBA games. Just having a little look at a list here. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
But you can play that on the 3DS, and that game is so good.
Yeah. Castlevania.
I think
Area of Sorrow.
When we start filling out a list for next year, I might have a look at the GBA library and look at some stuff I want to play.
Pokemon Radiant Sapphire, guys.
Good idea.
There's a Castlevania game on GBA, something of dissonance.
Aria of Sorrow.
Area of Sorrow.
What was no, there's one that ends in dissonance. I can't remember what it was. I just saw a copy of it yesterday at the game store in box.
Right now, Zach is screaming into the headphones.
Harmony of Dissonance. That's what it was. In box, $150. Oof.
Wow. No, I was right. Final Fantasy VI Advance.
Yeah, they all have that advance after them. I think I've got a number of them.
It actually had some good fighting games too. It just worked pretty well.
System.
Yeah, like
the Kirby games were really good. Fire Emblem was on there. The Mario Kart Super Circuit was fantastic.
And NHL Hits is on there as well, and it's actually good,
though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
they redid the Mario games. Like they had Super Mario Advance, which was Super Mario World. Then they had the Yoshi's Island one, and
they also put Link to the Past on there.
Never had its own standalone Mario, did it? It was all ports.
It had Super Mario Advance, which I think...
Yeah, but I think that was just ports.
Yeah, those were ports.
I'm sure there's two, I think there's two advanced games. One has 2 and 3 on, and one has 1 and
Yoshi's
World
Island,
like
and
that.
then all that.
Yeah.
It had some great tactical games, too, like Tactics Ogre.
Castlevania Circuit of the Moon. Maybe are you thinking of that one?
No, it's called Harmony of Dissonance.
Oh, okay. Metroid Fusion.
Oh, Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town, which we played for the show.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it had the worst Grand Theft Auto game of all time. Pretty much.
The problem is, like, I really want to start buying more Game Boy and GBA games, but finding them complete in box is so difficult, and I just don't like buying these cartridges because they just lay around.
The boxes for Game Boy were cardboard as well, weren't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the N64 ones, so they're trashed.
Yep.
Yeah, it sucks. But no, it was a stellar system. Stellar.
Yeah, but I kind of have the bug to start modding. The next thing I think I want to undertake is recapping a Game Gear.
Are you going to do it to your blue one first?
Yeah, that $50 Game Gear. That way it's up and running so I can take it with me to MoCon and show Ben. Got that $50 Game Gear up and running, son. Apparently, recapping a Game Gear is a pain in the ass because there are so many caps.
Oh, man.
Dan, that stands for capacitors.
Oh.
So why are they notorious for failing?
They just use shit capacitors in them. Just really low quality. So I think what I want to do when I do that is recap it and put a backlight in it at the same time. Because there's a lot of games on the Game Gear I'd like to play, like the Mega Man
you'll
game.
have to upgrade the battery pack.
Oh, God. No, I think I have the wall plug, and I'll just stay plugged in.
I was going to say, because the Game Gears had terrible battery life.
Well, I have one of those...
wasn't it six double A's, wasn't it?
One of you guys shared a picture in the WhatsApp about the belt pack, the battery belt pack for the Game Gear. So I have one of those, but apparently the batteries within them were shit as well. So you can actually mod that to have a rechargeable lithium ion in it. So
plus you'll also look really cool.
Fuck yeah, I will, dude. I'm 33. I don't care what I look like anymore.
Just get a power bank and a fanny pack. You'll be fine,
dude. I can't wait for fanny packs to come back.
I kind of want
the trend, Eric.
What, Tom?
Ooh. I said I was going to say I kind of want a PlayStation Classic because I kind of want to mod it.
You want a PlayStation what?
Classic? Just so I can mod it.
What do you want to mod it with?
Just so I have because that's my favorite console of all time. I think it would just be quite nice to have it and then fully modded with all the classic games.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Do you
know what puts me off? That it comes with the controllers without the analog stuff.
I know that does kind of suck.
I mean, there is only one game you can't play without the analog sticks. That's Ape Escape.
I know, but now that we have them, it's just hard to go back.
How many games
really utilize playing Crash 1 with the D-pad?
I actually don't remember using it. I've got to be honest, I don't remember
think...
using it very much.
Don't quote me on this, Dan, but I don't think Crash 1 ever did let you use analog sticks. Crash 3 did.
That's why I'm saying.
I was thinking about this the other day too, Tom, when I was just kind of sorting through my controllers, and I was shocked that I didn't have a PlayStation 1 DualShock anymore. And then I started thinking, I don't think I really ever utilized one as a kid.
No, I don't think I did. I really don't remember.
I think getting them for PS2 has kind of overwritten that memory of, oh yeah, this has just always been the PlayStation controller, and it really hasn't.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I had a PS1 one.
They had them. And I know that...
Because Because eventually they stopped making the originals, and the actual PlayStation just came with DualShocks as standard.
Mm-hmm. But that was really late into the life cycle.
Yeah, I think the PS1s, as in the smaller ones, were... I think they definitely came with just DualShock. But again,
now, here's the question: Can you mod the PS1 Classic to use a DualShock controller?
Well, consider the controllers don't connect with the standard controller port.
No.
They connect with the
But
USB port, don't they?
The closest thing you could probably do, Dan, is some of the 8-bit controllers. Some of them come with like a Bluetooth connector, and I know some people did it for the NES Classic and SNES Classic. It comes with a Bluetooth connector, you put that in, and then you can use like an 8-bit so probably do the same thing with the PS Classic. That's probably the most thing you can do.
There's some games you could probably get away with, like Final Fantasy and stuff, maybe. But I think with some things, you get used to analog sticks.
I don't know. A lot of those old games still, I'll play, even if they do support a joystick, I'll still play them D-pad style. Like
D-pad.
Old platformers. Yeah. I cannot play platformers with a joystick.
The original.
See, I started to play 2D things with the joystick.
Can't do
Celeste.
it.
I think Celeste you need the joystick for. But like I played Guitar Zero and the Messenger completely with the stick.
I played Dead Cells with the.
Well, I think so modern stuff like that game. Maybe, but when I go back and play old games like Mario, Mega Man,
sure.
Like that,
I couldn't play Mario or Sonic.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I play Metal Gear with D-pad, even though that definitely supported analog.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Speaking of mods, Tom and I discovered a new PC game mod that we enjoyed quite a bit of yesterday. Tom, you want to tell us about that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it turns out there's like a mod community behind Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 that has enabled us to be able to play multiplayer, which is as awesome as it sounds. So basically, both of you can then connect and play in one map. So you're sharing the same funds, and so you can just build in the same park.
Which worked out about as well as you thought it would have between me and Tom.
Yeah, but it was cool. We went into one of the scenario
Eric
parks.
was trying to break everything.
And one of the real parks is like it's in the Grand Canyon, and it's just the most Americanized park. It's got like a flower bed in the American flag colors.
You walk in under
cowboys.
a giant American eagle flag right by some cowboys and a Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, there's like upon entry, there's like a huge launch roller coaster shaped like a dick. It's just like
a red, white, and blue dick.
A red, white, and blue dick. Yeah, and it's really cool. And then what we did was we renamed all the rides and all the food stores and stuff. We renamed the restrooms to like sitters only and standers only.
See, I've always had a firm belief that if you name the rides something wildly inappropriate, it will generate far more interest. So we created, those power towers where they take you really high up and then drop you down?
Yeah.
So we renamed that one. Well, the first one I built was like 980 feet tall right on the edge of the Grand Canyon. And it was ultra extreme on all three. It was just 900 feet of pure free fall and 3 feet of brakes at the very bottom. And that one, since it looked like a giant dick, so we made it flesh colored with purple brake strip up the side and like dark brown base. So it looked like a giant dick. And then we made the carts that people were riding on white, so it looked like semen. Are you following here, Dan? It's a penis with semen.
You've lost me. Just continue.
So usually we'll make them so they fire up, and I'll call that the ejaculator. But since this one was coming down, we called it the retrograde ejaculator.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan, Mike, did you guys play much Roller Coaster Tycoon back in the day? Or kind of...
No, I don't think so.
Oh, God.
Not one that touched. I did a bit of theme park.
I definitely played it. Theme Park World. Maybe.
Oh,
I think I played that.
theme park. See, I was really into theme park as well. Because that was on the original PlayStation.
Yeah, you can't... It doesn't hold a candle to Roller Coaster Tycoon, though.
No, sadly not. It's very basic compared. Although, theme park does have some extra customization that Roller Coaster Tycoon doesn't. Like, you can actually... in like the ice cream stands and stuff on the or the French fries stands, you can change the amount of salt and the amount of sugar and how much you can have a full simulation where you control the stock levels. So you actually have to order stock.
Crank it up.
It's pretty cool. So it does have some extra bits, but then Roller Coaster Tycoon in terms of overall content does have more going on. I don't know. It's just one of those PC games I remember playing a lot, like back in the day, because you didn't have to have a crazy computer to run it.
It was a family staple in our house.
It was
for years.
And I did some reading up on it, and the guy that made it was just one guy. He programmed 99% of it.
Jeez.
Like he had a little bit of extra help here and there, but he not only made it himself, but he coded the engine, and it was in like a really old school programming language, like no Unity, obviously back in the day. Or
well, what's so cool about it though is that you have to own the original copy of the game, and it pulls from those files, but it gives you so much more control over how the game looks. So through GOG or Steam, I don't know if it's through Steam, but I know we bought it through GOG. You can't launch it in windowed, and it gives you a very limited set of resolutions. This one launches in windowed, and then you can drag it and rescale it, so you can actually play it in full widescreen if you want to. But then you can adjust the Windows scale filtering, so that I was playing on a 4K monitor, and everything looked microscopic, and you can go in and change the scale so it looks more like it did when you played it on an original computer, but it maintains that much higher resolution. But the multiplayer aspect of it is just so incredibly cool. Except Tom and I started to work against each other within the same park.
Trying to outdo each other by building similar roller coasters, trying to see who would...
well, what we discovered, which is so frustrating, is that we would build coasters that we would ride on. And everyone's like, nope, too intense, too extreme, don't want to ride this one. So then we just decided, you know what, I'm going to give you the shittiest fucking ride I possibly can. But to get to it, you need to walk 8 miles of queue up over 2 mountains. I spent 10 times as much on the queue as I did on the roller coaster. It was Tom didn't know I was building it because he was working on his. And then we zoomed out. So it spanned the entire width of the park and went up as high as it could and then back down 4 times. And... zoom out and he's like, holy shit, what is that? I'm like, well, the ride is aptly called the heat stroke because by the time you're done hiking to the roller coaster, you have a solid amount of heat stroke. And it's in the furthest...
Cruel man, Eric.
It's in the furthest back reaches of the park with no water, no first aid.
I just kept being like, stop burning through our money.
But something clicked at the end. We just started raking in the dough at the end.
Yeah. It's because we took away the
it's when words
no
start
entry
to spread
sign.
about the retrograde ejaculator, Eric. That's why.
Yeah.
Did you have shares in medical insurance or something?
Yeah. But yeah, no, we kicked it all out onto Twitch, and I think there's probably a video on demand you can watch. So if you're listening and you want to check out the shenanigans,
I think it's definitely something we'll be playing a bit more of too, because it's just so much fun.
What would that Twitch link be, Tom, for those who are listening?
The old twitch.tv/factory_sealed.
There it is.
Yeah.
Before we started the show this morning, Tom, I hopped in and I created a custom scenario, which is the largest map you can get. We own all of the land. All of the rides are available from beginning, and there's no money.
Oh, man.
All we have to do is have 5,000 people in our park by the end of year 3. We can do it.
It's possible.
It's possible.
That's a lot, but yeah.
But... you can have,
with all that land and money and space,
I think you can have up to 16 people playing in one park. Could you imagine just burning through the funds at that point?
You can. I've seen the because when you with the mod, you click on the online option, and you can see all the open servers. There's obviously a ton that are private, but there's a bunch of people that just have open servers that you can just connect to. And I connected to one last night, and it's just ridiculous. Like 14 other people building at the same time. It started to lag massively, and the money was just getting like, just I don't know, it was minus $1,000 every 10 seconds or so. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's cool.
It was a ton of fun.
I think this is because obviously I've just got a PC now, and this is what I've really missed with PC gaming is just the mod community, the amount of work that people put in for no money as well. Maybe just they might just put a donate button on their website just to get a few bucks here and there.
I'm really jealous of people playing Beat Saber on PC because they just have
segue into that.
Yeah.
My next Beat Saber machine has finally had...
Before you get into that, I just want to give props to myself for beating a song on Expert Plus in these time between shows.
Yeah, but I'm on 2 now. I've got 2 down.
Nice.
Yeah, I know, but you've got a bionic shoulder, so it's a bigger achievement for me.
I'm surprised. I was clicking through them and I went into Breezer, beat it on Expert Plus first go.
That's crazy.
It's impressive. I can get quite far in it, but there's a certain bit which just throws me off every time.
The Oculus Quest now has a firm release date of May 21st. So
May 21st.
So 3 weeks.
May the 21st be with you.
Yes.
May the many be with you.
For those of you who don't know, it's the next iteration of the Oculus, but it's the first fully enclosed self-reliant VR headset, so it doesn't need
for those of you that don't know, the 21st is after the 20th, but before the 22nd.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I know that was for Dan, who can only count up to many.
It's also 6 days prior to the 27th.
But have you guys been looking at the reviews for this thing?
What for May is a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing.
That's a good one.
Usually alright.
Yeah. So the sun starts to come out. And...
No, the Oculus
goes
Quest.
back in at the end of the day.
1 out of 5 stars. Too many Star Wars references for Eric.
I've been hearing impressive things.
Dude, it's killing it in the reviews, averaging 8.5 plus.
Yes.
So
Is it better than June? We still don't know.
Has yet to be seen. June's not out yet. I thought you were with me there for a minute, Tom.
I know. I was just setting you up. I'm sorry. I feel terrible.
Oh, God. Jesus.
I miss you, Tools, when we don't do this.
Are we done with the May review jokes?
But Eric, you ordered one.
I did.
We may have.
Get it, Dan?
No.
Yes, I did order one, and so did my mother.
What?
Yeah. She's all on board with it too.
She's ordering it for the Beat Sabers.
For the Beat Sabers, yeah.
Wow.
That's the only reason I'm ordering it, because I want untethered Beat Saber.
I flipping love your mother. She's a legend.
Just because she's better at rapping than you.
Yes, she is. I would be the first one to say that. She is a machine.
The reviews specifically for this talk about Beat Saber and how good the tracking is on this, and people were playing the Expert Plus and trying to physically trick this headset into having poor tracking, because I think we can all attest that the tracking on the PSVR can be a bit wonky a majority of the time.
I've mentioned this before, but I have very limited spaces in the day where I can actually use my VR because of the way the sun shines into my living room.
Yeah,
and how shit the blinds are in there. So
funny curtains had been invented.
Yeah, but I'm not putting a curtain rail up in a house that I'm thinking of moving out of very soon. So
it's not even one up.
No, they've got these the house that I rent has these shitty like office blinds up in the living room. Do you not remember?
Yeah, I remember, but I didn't notice there wasn't a curtain rail.
Yeah, no, there's no curtain rail up. For some reason, they decided to put blinds in that are really shit and don't keep any light out.
No.
I can't find a sweet spot for mine. Like, no matter what lighting I've got, it tends to get thrown off sometimes. I don't know why.
So, you know what I've discovered it is? More often than not, you're standing too close to the screen.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it, yeah.
When you're in the game, if you hold the PlayStation button down and go to adjust VR headset and then go to adjust position, it'll show you a monochrome view of your room, and it shows you exactly what the camera is tracking. And a lot of times the tracking gets off because as you're swinging, it moves outside the frame of the camera. So back far enough up so that when you're holding your controller up high enough, it's not outside the frame, and then when they're down at your side, they're not outside the frame or out at the sides.
And the other thing is also not having a huge floor lamp on that's near your that the camera can see, because it doesn't catch the red and blue or whatever it is.
And don't cross the street until the little man turns green.
If you play a Farpoint, that actually has that on the start, where it tells you if there's a light shining or if you're outside the frame and things like that.
Yep,
it's quite
But yeah, I'm really excited for the Oculus Quest. I've already bought a traveling case for it because it comes out 3 days before I go to Toronto to see Tom. The only downside to this, and I really wouldn't even consider this much of a downside, is that part of the enjoyment of the PSVR is having it connected to your TV so other people can see. We have a friend who comes over once a week now with her daughter, and she is an absolute non-gamer, and she's hooked on Beat Saber now. So when she comes over, the kids are playing, and we just cycle through playing Beat Saber together. And this, I believe, has a casting feature in it through Chromecast. So if you want to show it on your TV, stick a Chromecast in, and you can cast to it.
Yeah, you're going to want to do that, because I feel like otherwise it's a very solitary experience. Like if you have people over, it just, if you want to have a party and a gathering, you want to have something that people can watch when they're not playing.
And I really contemplated, do I get this or do I get the Rift S? Because I have a computer strong enough to run that, but I don't want to be tethered. And then I don't want to get the full Oculus Rift and then get the wireless connection kit and all of that, because then you still have to set up sensors in the corners of the room. That's just too much. I just want, hey, pop it on, play some Beat Saber, be done with it.
Out of anybody, though, right? You've got the living room to set up that.
I didn't hear either of you.
Go on, Dan, you go on.
I was saying it's fascinating how the Quest works. I read a few things about it. Like, apparently if you wander too far out the space and things, it starts to fade the image.
Yeah, it gives you a monochrome view of the outside world.
Crazy.
Yeah,
that means there must be a camera facing the other way.
So what happens when you put the headset on, it's got the way it tracks, like right now, all other VR has external sensors that track your controller. This one has the sensors on the headset. It has 4 of them in the different corners, and they've reconfigured the basic Rift controller so that the little circle is pointing up instead of down, because it's all IR based, and it tracks your controllers that way. But as soon as you put it on, it images the room in front of you, and from what I've gathered, you still have to kind of do the room tracing, like, hey, I'm going to trace the floor, like, here's my play area. But you can utilize up to a 4,000 square foot area in this. And Santos, I think it was Santos, someone sent me a link to this really cool multiplayer experience that they set up using a bunch of these Oculus Quests. So I think this is definitely the next step in VR, because it's untethering you from cables and from a console, and I'm super excited.
That's amazing that can even run standalone, like just playing VR. That's quite cool. The only downside I've heard is apparently not all games which come to the Oculus are going to come to the Quest as well.
No, because it is technically more underpowered than the PlayStation VR, but it does have a higher resolution. They said that the only real sacrifices that you're making are in like texture quality and graphical fidelity, but most of the games don't really have insanely high resolutions. They use particle effects and things like that. So
what's the battery life like?
A lot of it was kind of hit or miss on people mentioning that, because realistically, how long have you in one straight shot spent inside VR? Well, I'm asking the wrong person here. Dan just lives in it.
I think the longest I probably spent
for over an hour at least.
Probably half an hour at most, maybe 45 minutes at absolute peak.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go any longer than 45
sub 1 hour,
minutes.
And most people were saying that the battery life is between 2 to 3 hours, depending on what you're playing. So it's
the only caveat to your kind of thing here, saying you wouldn't spend much time in it, is if you go back to the party thing. If you've got quite a few people around and you play Beat Saber for a few hours, that battery life isn't going to be
but
fantastic.
Still, we've never played for 3 straight hours.
Well, you ain't doing it right, son.
So
not playing hard.
No, but that makes sense.
I don't know. I'm excited for it. It's a frivolous expense because I already own VR with Beat Saber, but I want to experience
custom songs
untethered. I don't think you're going to be able
Eric
to do
Peterson
custom songs.
In frivolous expenditure, shocker.
Yeah, a lot of people.
What did you say, Eric, about custom
I don't think
songs?
you're going to be able to do custom songs on it.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
boo.
Yeah.
Oh, because you can't store them anywhere.
Yeah. You'd have to stream it from a
that
PC.
sucks.
Damn.
So unless they can...
Because
that's
on,
what-
you can mod the sabers and everything on Beat Saber PC
Oh,
as well.
dude, I can't even watch the PC version of that game because it just upsets me.
Is this a plan of yours with the new gaming PC, Tom?
No, I don't think I could do it. It would be too much of an investment.
You can get the
But
Rift
it can-
S for
Cat wouldn't let
$99.
him do it.
It'll run it. It'll run VR totally fine. But
This guy's got a
maybe
wedding to pay for, guys.
maybe in the future. But yeah, I do have a wedding to pay for. That is true.
Have a VR wedding.
Yeah, we can all just log in virtually. Dan's already there. He's already watched it. He can tell you how it went.
I
Tom-
completed
Tom's wedding, completed,
before.
He completed
buy,
it as soon as
uh,
Tom proposed.
I'll have to buy some cosmetic DLC, some good suits.
Yeah.
Climbing up that mountain,
I'll
Dan
make
was
sure
the
I
only
bring
one
a
who didn't
belt
know
that
it was
fits.
happening. So
What'd you say, Mike?
I said climbing up that mountain, Dan was the only one who didn't really know it was happening, and he already
Oh,
completed
yeah.
it before you did it.
I'm pretty sure Cat didn't know it was happening.
Well, yeah, obviously, but
Brilliant. Yeah.
But
But
no,
nice to be
I'm
excluded,
interested-
guys. Thanks.
Well, no, but actually going on that with the PC, I've been enjoying playing CS:GO.
Oh, Tom's back in his
Yeah.
CS mode.
Man, I'm slowly being pulled back in, and it's just the same game as it was like 15 years ago now when I last played a lot. It just looks better, but it's got some of the same sound effects and the same maps and everything. It's just wild. And now when I'm playing it, so we used to try and get we used to lower our resolutions and play around with our graphics to try and get as many frames as possible. That was just the big thing, frames and low ping. And now I'm playing it and I switched the FPS counter on and I'm running it at 120 frames.
Jesus.
I mean, it is just insane. Like, it's like playing LAN, but playing online. It's just yeah. There's no there used to be when I used to play, we used to connect to 56k only servers, which were special servers for people with het internet, where it would be like, hey, it's okay, you can have 100 ping and you can play here. Now it's just everyone's got basically 10 to 25 ping with stupid frame rates. But yeah, I'm slowly being pulled back into that, but I'm trying not to play it too much because that's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it is.
But
I've never done much PC gaming, so CS and things like that were never my jam.
yeah, that's fair.
So
That's fair.
what's the appeal?
I
I know
don't
obviously
so-
I know what CS is obviously, but I mean as someone who's played it before and
Yeah.
someone who's wanting to play it again now, what is the appeal for you?
I don't know. We used to back in the day. We played so many. It's such a tactical shooter. It's team based, and you have to plan each round. And if you die once, that's it for the end of the round. You have to
like
sit
the old
out
SOCOMs.
the rest of the round. Yeah, and you
it.
kind of you'll have. So if it's always terrorists versus counter terrorist, and terrorists usually have to go in a big group and plant a bomb somewhere, and then guard the area. And the counter terrorists have to find ways to infiltrate the bomb site and disarm it. That's the base level, and I don't know. You have to work together, but you also have to be good at the game as well. But I don't know. It's I played it a ton, so much years ago. I used to play in leagues and stuff like that, and I don't think I could ever do that again.
Was that back in your disc jockey days?
Yeah. It certainly is back in the disc jockey days.
DJ Regsy.
And I don't know. It's just good playing. It's just good playing it. A good feeling again. You get it's
Tickles
pretty
his
satisfying.
old pickle, Mike, is what
Yeah.
he's saying.
That's basically it. But it's not for everyone though. Definitely not. It's a lot of. It's quite tactical. So you can't. It's not run and gun. You can't just spray. You
No,
have to,
not my game.
You have to walk and crouch and tuck yourself into little corners and plan your moves basically. So it's like FPS crossed with a bit of strategy, which is it's quite a neat little concoction that works out pretty well. But yeah, and playing it with mouse and keyboard is a dream. I think from now on, I'm probably going to buy first-person shooters on PC, at the very least because it's cheaper as well.
PC Master Race.
PC Master Race. But I'm like you, Mike. I still like to play console just for the fact that it's comfortable. Like when you're on your settee and you've got your TV in front of you, and you're lounging, it just feels more comfortable. I will still definitely. That's
what always puts me off PC gaming. I just couldn't get used to it.
That's my main driver, like PS4, of course, and everything. But it's nice to have that extra option, right? And also those GOG sales and Steam sales, like they're pretty deep.
Great, crazy bargains on PC.
It's wild, yeah. So, yeah, that's it. CS:GO.
I don't think you'll ever turn me into a PC gamer.
No, I don't either.
Like anything that I will play, if I do play something on my laptop, it's always something with a controller for the most part. I do.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I probably could get used to mouse and keyboard if I played it. But
well, most people tend to. It depends what you're playing, obviously. But so first-person shooters and strategy is always mouse and keyboard. But a lot of people are playing. Like the guys I work with, they're all PC gamers, but they use an Xbox One controller on their PCs.
I've got a couple of Xbox One controllers now as well, so easy enough to just hook up to Windows 10.
Yeah, but if you're trying to play an FPS with an Xbox controller on PC versus people with mouse and keyboard, you will get obliterated.
Oh yeah, you'll get screwed.
Yeah, no, FPS and strategy, mouse and keyboard. But people are playing like a lot of third-person action stuff with controllers on PC, and they're doing totally fine. But yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Anybody been playing anything else?
What else happened in the world of gaming? I've been playing Assassin's Creed to death. Like, what a game that is, actually.
Such a
it's
huge
RPG
game.
like, isn't it?
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of The Witcher, actually. In terms of kind of mixed with a bit of Skyrim.
Mixed with a bit of what?
Skyrim.
Oh. Nice.
So it's a natural evolution of the Assassin's Creed series. Like, they've always been pretty decent apart from a couple, but this one is just, there's so much to it. It has such good gameplay hooks, and it's just, I'm at 55 hours now, I think, and I've still got loads to do.
It does look really nice too. Like I see it being used a lot in benchmark tests. It's a fantastic
game for the scope of it as well.
Yeah.
They were using it. They were using it as for the Stadia thing, weren't they? The Google.
Yeah, that's right. I see it demoed a lot. I see it demoed for like when I was obviously looking for PCs, looking at graphics cards and stuff like that. Like they were using Assassin's Creed as like a bit like The Witcher is used a lot as well, and Crysis, those kind of games, like heavy, with huge graphical fidelity and stuff like that. But
you're playing it on an OG PlayStation as well, Dan, aren't you?
Yeah, but it still looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I've got the OG PlayStation still lets you switch on HDR on certain games, so I've got that on, and that looks really good. But it's just, I think what the main hook with it is the way the quests are made, because it's it has an overarching storyline, but there's so much more to it. There's elements you have to essentially hunt down this cult who are like the precursors to the Templars, which if you know your Assassin's Creed lore, you'll know what that is. But you can hunt them down as well, and they're like all over the world. You have to find clues to find them, and then there's other quests on top of that. The side quests are excellent with multiple branching narratives, and for the first time in Assassin's Creed, you have like dialogue choices and things like that. So it feels a bit more like Mass Effect and things like that as well. And it's just such a good game. Like even 55 hours in, I want to go and play it again because it's just the gameplay hook is so good.
Nice.
I'm excited to see what they come up with next.
There's still DLC coming out for it, isn't there?
Yeah.
Story DLC.
Well,
because sorry, Tom, go on.
Oh no, I was just going to say I've still only ever played Assassin's Creed 1, and that's it.
Me too, and I hated it.
Yeah, I hated it too.
Yeah, the first one wasn't the best, but there is so many good entries, like Black Flag and Syndicate was really good, and I liked
1776 one.
Oh,
hell yeah, America!
Damn,
no, because I was really impressed with
that one.
Regarding the DLC, I was really impressed with Ubisoft recently because Assassin's Creed has been kind of given the nod by like LGBTQ communities about your freedom of who you want to be with, like your character, because you can play as male or female. You can be in same-sex relationships and things like that. And the first bit of story DLC, I think it was. it ended up kind of forcing you to go into a hetero relationship, and like obviously the LGBTQ community were like, well, hang on, you said that you could go either way with this, and they put their hands up and went, yeah, we fucked up, we'll sort it in the next DLC, and they changed the next DLC to like alter that and make sure your choice. Like, big props to them for that. Like, just holding their hands up, going, yeah, we fucked up.
Yeah, my Cassandra has been boning everybody she can. As soon as there's a romance option, I'm like, yep, do her.
That's cool. I think there was about 5-6 months ago, one of the Assassin's Creed games was available on PS Plus. It's the one where you start on a pirate ship.
Black Flag.
Is it Black Flag? Did you guys try it?
No.
It was,
yes,
yeah.
No.
Yeah,
it was.
I have it. I have it.
Oh shit! I must have missed that.
I must have missed it too.
Because I've always wanted to play that one.
It's 100% on it because I played it.
It must not have been on the North American one.
They give away the standalone DLC, Freedom Cry, as well.
Yes, that's right.
Interesting.
So you will have that, Mike, I think, if in your library. I don't remember playing it
because that's one that I've always, even though I didn't like the first Assassin's Creed and the rest of them have never really appealed to me looking at them, that's one that I got told was amazing. And I've kind of always wanted to. I like the idea.
See, I think, again, why I like this one so much is because I loved Black Flag, and this builds on Black Flag, so it still has the naval elements that Black Flag had, but it also builds on it in terms of the world and what you can find and things. There's just so much to find in it. It's exciting stuff, and it goes into like Greek mythology, like kind of like minotaurs and things like that. And, it's really cool.
Nice.
Was it the standard edition they released? They gave them.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was. I'm just looking at it now because I just want to make sure I'm not going crazy. But
there definitely was that one. It was called Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, which was a standalone expansion to it.
Yeah,
they definitely released Black Flag as well.
Let me have a look. Black Flag, PS Plus.
One gaming related things we need to talk about, guys, is the So Nice the Hedgehog movie.
Oh God, yes.
That was So Nice the Hedgehog.
Side note, I just checked. Black Flag has never been given away on PS Plus in North America.
Yeah, that's what I'm just looking at now.
Assassin's
Creed Freedom Cry was in August 2017.
I reckon. Do you know how sometimes they don't advertise some of the free games? Like, it's not. Every now and again, you get like a third game.
I'm looking at a list of all the games that have ever been released. It's not on there.
Well, I got Freedom Cry
I think
for
you're
free.
wrong, but okay.
Well, Freedom Cry, yeah, but not Black Flag. Freedom Cry is a standalone.
So what do we all think about So Nice the Hedgehog?
Jesus, that trailer.
Oh, man.
Awesome,
the
right?
trailer itself actually converted me into wanting to see the movie, but God, Sonic looked terrible.
Yes.
I think it's going to be Jim Carrey will probably steal the show as Robotnik because he's basically been Ace Ventura. But
objectively, though, that's a terrible casting choice.
Yeah, he looks nothing like him.
Doesn't act like him. Robotnik is he's this loud, gravelly.
Robotnik is goofy.
Yeah, but he's this loud, gravelly, aggressive type, and Jim Carrey is not that.
It's just been interesting seeing the massive backlash that's had because the Sonic fan base is just insane.
The fact that they've changed it, or they're going to change it.
Well, yeah. I wanted to bring this up because I'm a little conflicted about this
too.
Because one of the I think it's one of the producers or something like that. They've said, following the backlash from the trailer, they're going to change.
Director?
Was it the director? Yeah, they're going to change the design of Sonic, and I think it sets a dangerous precedent for for fans of things. Now, don't get me wrong, that Sonic design is fucking awful. It is terrible. Like, it looks like a guy wearing pajamas,
like one of those zip-up onesies.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, okay, fair enough. It does look shit, but it is a dangerous precedent to stand for creators of quote-unquote art to then go, oh, well, enough people are bitching about this, we're going to change it. I shared that tweet to you guys from Brian Altano from IGN, who he shared about Sonic the Hedgehog movie design being changed following criticism. He said on Twitter, he's like, I guess respect the creator's artistic vision and don't force him to change anything, only applied to Sekiro 2 months ago. Because obviously there was that whole backlash about whether Sekiro should have an easy mode or accessibility options, and whether it was respecting the artist's original vision and things like that. And there was outcry about that, about people saying they shouldn't have these things because that's how the creators wanted it to be.
Well, then look.
I feel there's outcry about everything.
Look at what happened
to
Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, though. The same thing. There was so much negative feedback on it that they completely revamped it. If you watch that trailer of old versus new,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
The way I'm looking at it, Mike, is right. They made this, so how did they get it so spectacularly wrong in the first place? A team of designers will have worked on that Sonic for ages, and it'll have been through loads of different iterations, and then they've looked at that one and went, "Yep, that looks right." Bearing in mind that Sonic has this long, storied history of what he looks like.
Yeah.
So they went for that and put out a trailer using Gangster's Paradise.
I thought that was cool.
Which is just so bizarre, and then expected people who are like big Sonic fans to embrace it and go, yeah, that looks fine. Bearing in mind that already before this trailer came out, there was leaked images where people went, yeah, that looks shit. So really, they shot themselves in the foot, and I think because they want to sell a movie, they want people to go and see a movie, they had to do it. And
no, but so I'm with Mike on this, though. I think it's setting a really dangerous precedent given specific circumstances. This one, okay, yeah, it's warranted. But I think what's going to happen is it's going to give people that false sense of ownership over things that they really have no right to complain or say, change this.
Well, I didn't bring this up on the show around the time it was happening, but last year Spider-Man came out? Yeah, last year when Spider-Man came out, all of the DLC had basically come out, or were just about come out, and everyone was bitching that they wanted the Sam Raimi trilogy suit in the game, and people were crying about it, saying they were going to stop playing, stop buying it, yada yada yada. And who was it who made it? Insomniac. They just kind of wasn't responding to it. I think they actually responded to saying, "Oh yeah, we're listening," and then they ended up just dropping the Sam Raimi Spider-Man in the game, and it turns out they had plans of, like, they had it ready for ages, and they actually had like a whole date and everything they were going to do for it, and like going to advertise it and things like that. But because everyone bitched about it so much, they just dropped it in. And I can't remember who I was listening to. It was another podcast, and they said the same thing then. Like, this is a dangerous precedent because all of those people who were bitching, the people who were the minority that are bitching about it, they now think that they've won when really this was the plan all along. And they've kind of stomped their feet, and they think that they've got their way in the fact that it came out earlier, but like they think that they've got their way, that they created the Sam Raimi suit in Spider-Man because of them, when really it was the plan all along. And that is kind of the same thing with this. It is a precedent of people bitching enough and kind of getting their way. They're going to expect it all the time.
But it's really not even that loud of a group if you really think about it, though. It's just that they make
the squeaky wheel gets the grease, doesn't it?
Yeah. I hate that we live in a society like this.
It's like
it happens for everything.
But it's gone back as well.
Always going to be negative about everything. It's like social media breeds that. And
look at when people got crazy with the Mass Effect 3 ending. People were saying to BioWare, "Please change the ending."
No,
it was
it's not your story.
They did.
And it was
didn't they?
No, they
did. They put up an epilogue. They did.
Yeah,
okay.
They were like, "Yeah, but this is our fiction. This is our piece of fiction. If you don't like the ending, like if I didn't like how a story ended, I wouldn't write to the creator and say, hey, would you mind not killing off this character, or do you mind, because I have a real connection to it. Like, I don't know, like, just come on. I think that's ridiculous."
But going back to Sonic and kind of the design of him and how he looks in the film and everything, Detective Pikachu is out next week. And that's actually been getting some really good reviews. And do you remember the outcry of how Pikachu looked in that? Now, don't get me wrong, it doesn't look anywhere near as shit as fucking Sonic does. But, you know, they've stuck to that. Like, there was that little outcry at the beginning, and then people have actually started to love it now that they're used to it. I don't think anyone's going to love Sonic, you know, the way he looks. But at the same time, you know, Detective Pikachu's getting pretty good reviews from what I've seen. But there were a lot of people then going, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, that latest trailer that dropped actually has converted me. So Ellie and I watched it, and we're going to go see it in theaters.
Wow.
You're going to go to the cinema?
Yeah, I know.
I know.
I know. I'm not happy about it.
Do you not like the cinema?
Oh, I fucking hate going to the movie theaters.
Oh, I love going to the movies.
I hate it.
So do I.
Because of the people, the other people. We live in the rudest society imaginable. Well, I'm going to go here and I'm going to bring my kid.
That's why you wait a few weeks to go and see the movie, and then there's nobody there.
Oh, no.
You need to move to England. Like, people are afraid to breathe.
Oh, that sounds like the perfect movie theater.
Yeah.
But since I have to take Ellie, I can't go to the 21 and up theaters. So
I'll put a mustache on and she'll pass.
Yeah. No, I know I've talked about this at great length, but the people here seem to just not give a shit. They go to the theater and they think it's their own personal living room. They'll bring their kids that have no right being in any of those rated R movies. Toddlers in strollers, newborns to midnight showings, kids just running around.
Yeah,
I can't.
You do not get that in the UK at all.
Yeah.
It's like, but honestly, how quiet it is and how everyone's like doesn't move and everything. It's like sitting at a funeral.
People wait for loud parts of the movie to chew their popcorn.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Like
you sit there, you're like,
anybody ever breaks the silence, everybody stares at them and tuts.
It's great.
Oh, it sounds like my type of place to go to a theater. I always seem to get stuck by people who want to sit and commentate to each other.
Oh my god.
Apart from horror films, because obviously people are audible on those with screams and everything, I can think of, 2 occasions of people being like actual audible with moments in the film, and one of them, don't worry, no spoilers anyone, one of those was during Endgame last week, and I actually did it as well, because a big group of people just went, oh shit, like in a good way. But it was ace, but because like how cinemas normally are, you could tell it was such a great moment, like how they are over here. It was such a great moment that people went.
I actually did that this week for I did that this week for Game of Thrones as well. But again, no spoilers. But there was just an oh shit moment, and I literally audibly went oh shit. But that was in my living room, so it was fine.
And then Crystal got angry because you were casually swearing.
What are you doing in the living room? Get back up to your game room.
Next time Eric's in the country, doesn't matter what film it is, whether he's interested or not, we should take Eric to the cinema.
Oh, it'd be awesome. Sounds
just sitting there with a really serene look on his face, just like
this is what it's like.
I've dreamt of this.
Oh dear. Speaking of films, isn't our based around some movie franchise?
Hey, it's a beautiful segue from Michael Tyson.
May the 4th be with you.
And it's aptly timed because one of the original actors has recently passed away.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
R.I.P. Chewie.
That was a terrible Chewie.
I can't do it. I'm pretty sure Tom's is worse.
Yeah, it was.
I think mine's passable.
So who recommended this?
The amount of body hair you have, like you probably are Wookiee.
I recommended that we play Star Wars: The First Unleashed.
Leave my body hair alone. You're just jealous.
So since this is Tom's recommendation, Tom, take it away.
Yeah, this week or this past 2 weeks, we played Star Wars: The First Unleashed from LucasArts.
It was aptly timed to be right around May the 5th be with you.
Yeah, I picked it.
Game of the week.
Not last minute as such, but just like I picked it about a month ago because I had a space, and I thought, oh no, we'll play Star Wars because of May the 5th be with us or whatever it is. And one thing I will say is that this is I'd never played The Force Unleashed before, but it just made our show. It's like 10, 11 years old, so qualifies.
I can't believe that it's that old.
Yeah, it came out September of 2008,
and it came out on everything. Guys,
even the
this
Nokia
is one of those games.
N-Gage.
The N-Gage.
No, did it?
Yeah.
Yes.
The
PlayStation
Wii,
2, PlayStation
the PSP,
3,
the DS, mobile.
Wii, DS.
It even came to Mac OS 10.
I think someone in our group shared that they were playing it on the DS. I'd be interested to know what that looks like. Can't imagine it's any good.
Apparently, I say apparently. It's obvious that you probably do. Apparently, use the touch screen for combat.
Oh, you're slashing away on the screen. Probably an absolute mess. Imagine playing that on a DS Lite.
I played it.
So did we all play Xbox 360 version?
And then, I did that, and then I played it on the Wii as well. I found it for $1.80. Like, I'll give this a go.
Yeah, did we all play it on 360 then, basically? Like the core?
Yeah.
Like, not that. Yeah.
So before we launch into this, I have a story about the Wii version. So when it came out, this game, I was like, oh my god, it's like lightsabers, and they're going to be amazing on Wii because they'll have like, you'll be able to do the combat and with the lightsabers. I was really excited and went and bought it for Wii when I first got it, and then I played it and I was like, oh no.
It's
waggle.
It's bad.
So then I had to go and rebuy it for Xbox 360, and it's a completely different game. The Wii version just has bits which are missing and all kinds of things.
Wow.
You just wiggle the remote to do shit. It's not intuitive.
Does it use Wii Motion Plus?
No.
It was years before that came out.
Oh, okay. I didn't know because I'd never owned a Wii, so I don't know about the time scales. But
Motion Plus came out at the same time as
Skyward Sword, I guess.
Skyward Sword, which I think was 2011 or 2012.
Apparently, it's like 1-for-1 on Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword is great with the tracking.
Yeah.
Too bad about the rest of it.
So this game kind of takes place between the two trilogies and kind of reveals the origin of the Rebel Alliance and then the Civil War that was shown within the original trilogy.
It was originally canon, but since Disney took over Star Wars, they have basically said all of the kind of stuff outside of the films isn't exactly canon anymore, and they have a term for it, and I can't think of what it is off the top of my head.
Non-canon.
No, not non-canon.
Uncanon?
Fire the cannon.
Retrograde canon.
Uncanny.
Not canon. Cannot.
You know.
Hey, I see what you did there.
For the longest time, I wanted to play a good third-person Star Wars game with good lightsaber combat.
That's all I've ever wanted.
And it's all I ever really wanted, to be honest. Now I played Jedi Knight on PC. That's pretty good. But
Star Wars Legends, that's what they call it now. It's like the extended universe is no longer considered canon by Disney.
Legends, right? It's a Legends game.
Because also this, the events of this game have been retconned due to the events of Rogue One as well.
Oh. Cheers, Gary.
Star Killer.
So, Tom, give us a overview of the story here before we dive into what we thought.
Well, I thought, how cool is this? Because you start the game playing as Darth Vader, which is just badass. I don't know. I think Eric, don't think you liked it that much, did you, Eric? Whereas I thought it was pretty cool.
Turned me off to the game entirely. 100%. Like this, if this is how this game is going to play, it's going to be terrible.
It was so cool, just walking really slowly with purpose, just
really slowly.
That's how Vader does it.
Vader doesn't run.
He doesn't run for no one, Eric. He walks through, and he people
so clunky. It was.
Haven't you seen A New Hope where he fights with his lightsaber and he's terrible?
It was just awful. It was such a bad opening level.
No.
If you watch the difference between like the lightsaber fight in A New Hope and then Revenge of the Sith, oh my god, the difference is incredible.
When you play as Darth Vader in that first level, you're being sent to kill this Jedi dude, right?
On Kashyyyk.
And
it's
just hucking Wookiees
Revenge
into
of
the water.
Sith,
that was the best part.
Where all the Jedis would be wiped out, and
this guy called Kento.
Right. And Order 66.
And it's really cool because when you get to the end of that level, you then have to actually do a proper cheeky little lightsaber duel, which is neat. I loved it. I wasn't expecting it so soon. It's like, yeah, Jedi's fighting, but you get to play as Vader.
See, I'll get to this, but I'll reference it a little bit now. I said to you guys in WhatsApp yesterday, for me, this game, the lightsaber combat lets it down.
Yeah.
You reckon?
The force powers are excellent. The lightsaber combat is not as good as the force powers. I mean, if you'd played Revenge of the Sith, you'll know good lightsaber combat because that's brilliant.
Because I've always wanted to play a Star Wars game with what's considered to be really good lightsaber combat.
Well, don't look forward to episode 1 later this year because that hasn't got it either.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith has ridiculously fluid, twirly lightsaber combos which you can do. So and it has you can play as both Obi-Wan and Anakin as well.
Nice.
So that is the benchmark for lightsaber combat for me. So
Yeah, but realistically, who wants to play as Hayden Christensen?
Good
well,
point.
yeah.
Very unlikable gentleman.
I hear he loves sand.
And what's that other Jedi power battles? That's also not very good, unfortunately.
I thought Jedi Power Battles was good. It was just ridiculously hard.
It was. It was really hard. Fun fact: I played that in French because I bought it in France and thought there'd be a language select screen, and there wasn't.
Rumor has it that
think
Jedi Fallen Order, which is coming out later this year, has sort of Dark Souls-esque combat.
Ooh. What does? Sorry.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the new one. That looks cool.
Story-wise,
yeah, but then so you don't end up playing as Vader for the rest of the game. You play as his apprentice, Starkiller,
who is a baby that you're supposed to murder at the beginning of that, at the end of that first level, and then Vader steps in and saves him and takes Starkiller on as his secret apprentice, who he then trains to travel the galaxy assassinating Jedi.
Yes, over the course of many, many years, because he's like 20 when he's something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
I have some trivia about Starkiller. Did you know that was the original name for
Luke Skywalker?
You took the words right out of my mouth, Dan. That's what I was about to bring up.
I did. Skywalker is way cooler, I have to say.
Little cheeky nod there. He
kills
stars,
Dan.
that's what he does.
They thought that Starkiller was too aggressive.
Yeah. It is.
Time-wise, Dan, I think it's supposed to be. I'm going off the top of my head here. I think it's supposed to be 18 years between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, which would work with Luke Skywalker's age, technically, wouldn't it? So yeah, I'm sure some bigger Star Wars fans than me will probably know. But yeah, so if you think when Vader meets him as a baby, he's what? I say baby. He's like what, 4 or 5?
He's pretty young.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm terrible. Vader's lightsaber, the little tearaway.
I love him.
That midichlorian counts, son.
Do you guys like the whole Starkiller holding the lightsaber ninja style? It's kind of cool, isn't it?
It seems not.
So I was a little disappointed.
It annoys me a bit.
It's ineffective.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed because in Force Unleashed 2 he has 2 lightsabers, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I thought it was like that in this as well. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go around with 2 lightsabers, and then got to the Starkiller level. I was like, why have I only got 1?
2 lightsabers are always better than 1 lightsaber.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
I will say, after that first level,
Knights of the Old Republic, I would always have 2 lightsabers.
After that first level, they kick you into the TIE factory where you're running around. That's where I
see all the little dicky bows being made.
That's where I realized, okay, this game's
all those clip-ons on the conveyor belt, Mike. They're just going past,
That's where I realized this game's going to be a frickin' blast. Completely different from the first level. So much more fast-paced. You're able to just toss things around. You have your force grab, your force push. It was really fluid. The combat was a ton of fun, and then through the rest of the game it kind of ebbed and flowed. But yeah, this should have been the first level of the game.
No,
and then the beginning should have just been a cut.
Darth Vader.
No, it should have.
I'm sorry, but Eric, right? If you buy this game, you look at the back cover, you look at the front cover, you see you're obviously going to play as this to you at the time unnamed character, and you're like, all right, Star Wars game, I'm excited. The opening credits roll like they would on a Star Wars film. The theme is there. It does the screen transition from where the words come. It was down to the world, and you think, oh yeah, this character's going to come out. Then you're fucking Darth Vader? Yes.
Yeah, and the freaking level takes ages to get through. And it's so dull.
It's not, it's fun. No. You get to blast Wookiees off bridges. What more do you want?
I mean, that's cool. That's super fun.
I do like that, yeah.
I would reckon I used that move to kill people just as much as the lightsaber, if not more.
Anytime you're against a human enemy, it's like, I'm just going to throw you off the edge.
The force grab, the force grab
that's how I do all the time. I'm just like, be gone!
It's really unique because once you grab something, you can use the left stick to move it up and down and then
towards
laterally. and then the right stick is forward and
It's the other way.
backward and side to side.
Yeah, the left stick actually is away from you and towards you, and the right stick is side to side.
That's right. And then up and down.
Now, has anybody played this before, apart from me?
I played the
No.
first two. No, you know what? I watched my mom play one of the levels at one point because she was really big into this, but I don't think I've ever actually played it myself.
Now, the reason I'm asking that is because when I got this at the time, I remember it blowing my mind with the physics in it, because there were so few games out there that did this.
What, does the nature of just moving objects around and stuff?
The moving objects, the way the physics react, the way the environment reacts.
Dude,
to
you
what
missed
do
out on
to
Half-Life 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't. I
You
played
missed
Half-Life
out.
2 after this, actually.
Oh, okay.
So this was, for me, one of the first forays into like how physics could be used in games. I just remember thinking, wow, this is so cool. Like how you can do force push to blast open doors and they react in different ways depending on how you hit them and things like that. It's just really cool.
Yeah,
that was cool.
I recall getting stuck at a couple spots, too, because I forgot that, I can use Force Blast to push open a door.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not in it a lot, is it?
No.
Just in general, you had a whole range of arsenal of abilities, which obviously you continue to unlock new things that you could spend skill points on. But even just after the first level, that early on, you've got obviously your force skill, your like lightning bolt that you can shoot. You can also.
I was surprised at how quickly you were given the lightning, because usually in video games, like force lightning is
force
something
lightning.
you
That's
get
it.
But it's not
much
really
later
that
on.
strong.
It's not great, but then like also you got with the L bumper, you can dash in the air and on ground, which was cool.
The dash
You also have your-
force push and then the dash lightsaber were awesome.
You have your combos. You have your one where you can throw your lightsaber and have it come back to you. You obviously got your force push. You can grab objects in the world and move them around. Like you kind of have just a whole tool set really early on, and so there's lots of creative ways that you can clear a screen of enemies, which is good because otherwise I think that it would just be stupidly repetitive if you were just running around slashing everything with your lightsaber, because it can get very repetitive if you just choose one way to dispose of
You
people.
can get through the whole game pressing nothing but X. If you
pretty
really wanted
much,
to,
yeah.
but you wouldn't have as
Depending
much
on the
fun.
on the difficulty you've chosen. I
Batman should
suppose.
take note.
Yeah,
This is a game you could go by just pressing X/square.
Yeah.
Batman, no.
We'll see
No.
about that come December.
And no. If you just button bash square on Batman, you're doing it wrong. And I know you always go, whenever I say to you, you're playing it wrong, you go, oh, maybe there's different ways of playing things. And I do agree with you. No, Batman, you're supposed to press square at the correct moments.
yes,
And then add your
triangle every
gadgets.
20
All the
seconds.
time.
Then
as
add your
fast as
gadget.
you can.
Then add your fucking gadgets in, so you get higher scores, so you get your upgrades.
See,
quicker.
he's going to have to eat his words later this year because we're playing it. So
Yeah.
he's going to have to do documented evidence of him playing.
Do you know?
through
Do you know what he's
pressing
gonna?
square
Do you know what
only.
he's gonna do, Dan?
Not
Do you know what he's
doing
gonna do? He's gonna force his way through the fights, like find it really difficult, and just force his way through to the end, just to try and prove us wrong, and then bitch about like how he didn't enjoy it because he couldn't do it properly.
But I want him to film all of it, making sure he doesn't press anything except square.
Like I said, I'm already going to modify a controller to just have nothing but a square button.
Just a huge,
Just
square
one
button.
big square button.
Then just press it
no,
like this.
Do you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna get like little stickers for every single button in his controller, so every single one says
Or
square.
I'm just going to gut 4 other PlayStation controllers and swap them in.
No, I'm on about even the directional, like even the analog. You just
Oh,
put a
yeah.
big square on it,
Nothing
and
but square.
all the L1s and L1s.
Nothing but square the whole time. To your point on the combat, though, Tom, there is a ton of stuff that you can unlock, a ton of combos, but they weren't very fluid.
No, that's just my
Yeah.
issue with the lightsaber combat. You see, I like the force,
Yeah.
the force powers. I don't know what's your favorite force like way to kill people. For me, it's pick them up, chuck your lightsaber into them, electrocute them, then chuck them at the mates.
I just pick them up and chuck them at their friends. That's all I
Mine
did
was
every time.
picking them up and then just bringing them up as high as I possibly could,
and then
and
dropping
then just letting go.
I quite like it when he flings them up into the sky. That's quite
Yeah, yeah. Because the camera actually pans over sometimes away from you being able to control.
I liked the
kinda
one
weird.
where you would jump up in the air and then just do this force bubble that pushed everybody
yeah.
away from you.
Oh, force repulse.
Yeah. I didn't really use a whole lot of the combos too much, like the one where you could after a couple slashes, you could then imbue your lightsaber with lightning. That one was good against some of the ATSTs, but
I used that pretty much exclusively when I was fighting with the lightsaber.
Did you guys unlock some of the crystals to change the color of your
lightsaber? Chunk of
lightsaber?
them.
Yeah, same.
I would always miss one or two, and I was like, "Where are they?" Because I looked everywhere.
They can be hard to find.
Yeah.
So within,
I only unlocked like one costume.
Oh, I don't even think
the
I
entire
checked those.
thing.
But there's some cool like verticality to the world because I think it's on the junk planet mission. There's a bit where you have to use your force power to raise a ledge up. You jump on that and then you grab hold of something and then launch it into like this other part of the ceiling of another building to then jump through, defeat a few enemies in that area, and then you have to go down like a pipe, like a tunnel, slide down into another part of the junk planet, and it's just, you get this real feeling of you're just kind of traversing up and down through this planet. And then there's some diverging paths that go on to like other areas where you use your force to blast open doors and go. Then now suddenly you're in like an interior part with different textures and looks and even enemies. So
there's a bit on the jump planet as well where you can pull down like metal things to cover over acid rain, which is really cool as well.
There was a lot of variety to the game, definitely.
Yeah, there's one bit in the, I think it's in the TIE factory as well, there's certain Jedi holocrons, which are the collectibles, where they're up on a section and you have to pick up like TIE fighter wings and slot them into like this thing and then you can climb up them, but it's completely optional, you can just skip it. Huh. But it's so
I saw those in there, I couldn't figure out how to get up
into
there.
Place.
Yeah. Me neither. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Interesting.
I did find it sometimes tough, like control-wise, to grab stuff and make it go exactly where I wanted it. It does help you out a little bit,
something that you don't want.
Yeah, because there's so much that you can just grab hold of.
I was constantly pulling things off the wall and hucking them at groups of people.
Yeah, that was cool.
It is a very fun game, combat-wise. It is. I like I say, I think the only thing that lets it down is the fluidity of the combos. If it had better lightsaber combat, then it would be fun. You got to think this was probably the first time in Star Wars history where we've seen these kind of force powers dialed up to 11. Like we've seen them in the films, but nothing on this scale.
Well, I mean, it's to the point where later you're pulling a Star Destroyer out of space and into a planet.
Oh God, what did we think? What did we think about that bit?
That part sucked.
That bit really
That part
sucks.
genuinely sucked. Just because of the waves of TIE fighters, and they weren't necessarily that easy to hit, so they fly in like this figure 8 pattern, and you can, if you're lucky, you can pull one of them out of the sky and throw them at another one, but otherwise you have to wait for this floating electrical engine to come by and then hopefully throw it at another.
You could lighten them as well, if you had the timing right.
Yeah, if you had the timing right, that's what it boiled down to.
But basically, this Star Destroyer, you're pulling it out of the sky, and you have to destroy the TIE fighters, and then it's turning away from you as well at the same time, and then you have to maneuver it back into place before you can pull it down, which is very specific.
Yeah.
And like by the time you're pulling it down, the next wave of TIE fighters are probably coming at you.
I think,
which is just such a pain in the arse.
I think
like,
it took 6 waves of TIE fighters before I was able to pull it down.
Which mission was
I
this?
actually died just before it was near the ground because I was like, I'm going to pull it down, and then I kept going, and then the TIE fighters killed me. I was like, oh no. But I hate this bit. And also this game is guilty of being of the time, like this 2000s era where it's just full of quick time events.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the quick time events really suck in this game. Like, they're pretty unfair as well.
They're really only at the end of the boss battles, though. So the boss battles I actually enjoyed.
Yeah, me too.
You face off against different Jedi Lords or Sith Lords halfway through the game when you flip. But they get down to the last bit of health, and then you have to go through a little mini QuickTime event. And if you fail, just starts the QuickTime event over. I
know, they just like reset as if they're doing a stage play.
Yeah, it's so true. But there was one where I can't remember, I was fighting, I don't know what the enemies were. There's so many different types of enemies in this game. Don't know if you guys noticed. It doesn't really repeat too often.
Well, actually, I've got some trivia about that as well. That was some of the criticism levied at this game, and then for The Force Unleashed 2, they reduced the amount.
And then people complained that there wasn't enough.
Yes.
Why would people complain about too much variety in what you're facing off against? Father Gascon and that,
They're idiots.
I will tell you
Force
what.
Unleashed 2 was a big disappointment, though. That was a rush job and a half.
I can't
Yeah,
remember
can you
the
give
name.
me just the bullet points on why Force Unleashed 2 didn't land? Like, what was so different about that?
It wasn't different. It was just incredibly short. It was a rush job.
Oh,
You can tell.
This game wasn't all that
Okay.
long by comparison, anyway.
No, but that one is even shorter.
so people just felt shortchanged, I guess.
And it just, with the way this one ends, it kind of didn't really need a sequel.
Right.
I can't remember the name of one of the enemies, but the giant mechanical walking robots.
Scrap Guard.
Yes, that's what I was trying to think of just then.
Yeah,
when I was
fuck those
talking about
guys.
one of
Seriously. There was really no quick or easy way to kill them.
They
and
suck.
if they got you into one of their cycles of like, I'm going to fire this magic missile at you, and then it hits you, and your recovery cycle was so long that by the time you
That they'd
stand up,
hit you
they've
again.
already fired another missile.
This is the problem I had with it towards the end, like on the Death Star level. When you get knocked over, he can't recover quickly. He just flails around on the ground and keeps getting hit. I'm
So-
like, will you get up?
I know we're jumping around a lot, but
falling
since you
over.
mentioned the Death Star level, I hope I'm not the only one that succumbed to this. But when you end up on the Death Star, the very first level, you walk into this giant factory room, and it's just overflowing with stormtroopers and 2 ATSTs, and then a bunch of these junkyard robots that I'm figuring, okay, well, there's been plenty of points in this game where I've had to clear the entire room of enemies before I can move on. And you've got snipers up in the catwalks up above. So I would go up there, I'd kill all these guys, and then I would try to cheese the ATSTs by shooting lightning at them from up above, and then come down and kill everybody else. And then more ATSTs would pop up, and it was just wave after wave. I'm like, Jesus, how long is this going to take? And then it dawned on me. The floor was blinking blue in the middle. So one time I died, I walked forward and just went, force repulse, and dropped down into the level. I'm like, well, I just bypassed all of that. I spent 2 days
I
working
kept
on
doing
that.
all the waves because I couldn't get the floor up. I thought you had to grab it and pull it up.
Oh,
So I was like, then by the time I was doing that, somebody with the magic missile would hit me again, and then I was like, oh. I think I died about 6 times on that section.
yeah, it was not easy.
It's kind of cool to go at the Death Star, though.
Oh.
I love the bit where you're going down the laser tube.
Yeah.
So, Mike, as you haven't played this because you're in Tenerife, you get to go down.
Yeah.
You get to go down like the Death Star's laser tubes while
I'm
they're
being
cycling.
very quiet.
Yeah, so they're basic. I don't know how many times they test firing this bloody laser mine because every 30 seconds or so he's going test firing cycle commencing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then
See,
if
I
you
only
get hit
got-
by
I-
it, you die.
I only got 2.5 levels in, so
The best part of that test firing, though, is when it was going off, if you could pick up enemies and just launch them into the lasers, just
Oh, yeah.
disappear.
sweet.
Loved it.
Nice. Are there any other third-person Star Wars games where you go on to the Death Star? Do you on Rogue Squadron 3 on GameCube? I can't remember. Because
Well,
Is
Rogue
that
Squadron's
something
a flying game, isn't it?
no, but they have Rogue Squadron 3 has on foot levels too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So fancy.
so fancy. No, maybe not.
Story-wise, though, halfway through, not really even halfway through, maybe like a third of the way through, you get betrayed by Vader and killed and then launched out into space, and then you're recovered and you sort of change sides. I didn't really follow the story too much in this. It was kind of really janky and...
Do you know the biggest problem
it's
for me?
It's ambiguous whether he's changed sides because Vader says you still kind of work for me, but then he wants him to form a rebel alliance because Vader's goal is to essentially kill the Emperor because the Sith basically always betray each other. In
Yeah,
the
there's
end.
only ever 2.
One of the other
They should
problems
probably
too.
work on that. They need some team building or something.
Also, the other thing that was annoying was a lot of the plot would come along while you're in the middle of some intense action sequences. You know, someone would radio in and they'd be telling you extra bits of story, and you're just like, "Hang on, I'm dealing with like 20 droids here."
I liked his helper Proxy.
Oh yeah, he wants to kill him basically.
Yeah.
Proxy's core programming is to kill Starkiller.
And he'll
Each
take
one
on
is
the
tools.
form of like Obi-Wan or Darth Vader or somebody else. He's really a cool guy.
How cool was the bit where he turns into Darth Maul? That's one of my favourite bits of the game. I was like, oh yes! The first time I played it, I was like, that's so cool.
Interesting thing about Proxy that I found is originally he was going to be, like how on Revenge of the Sith, Grievous has like human parts in him as well, has like a heart and stuff. Yes. Proxy was going to be similar, and he was going to basically kind of build himself using organs and stuff from like dead people. But because they were keeping him as like a comic relief character, they thought if they added him, like adding organs to himself, it wouldn't come across as comic relief.
What were some of your favorite bosses, or least favorite?
I liked the Proxy fight. The Darth Vader one was reasonably cool.
The first 3 or 4 were...
The Emperor one sucks.
The first 3 or 4 were very generic. You're just fighting Jedi gods. Or just basically Jedis. The one guy who looked like a walking spider. Then
Jedi gods?
Yeah.
What the hell's a Jedi god?
I don't know. Jedi people. They were... Yeah.
Jedi Master.
Jedi Masters.
Nah, they're Jedi gods.
Eric, never speak to me about Star Wars again.
Community.
I do it just to get on your tits, Mike.
I hate you so
But then partway through, it flips over to fighting like the Shadow Guards and then this giant ATST. That battle was kind of fun because you're going around trying to pull out all these resistors and overload this tower while you have this ATKT walking around. And then all of these scrapyard robots and
they're not scrapyard robots, they're Imperial Purge troopers.
The big metal robot things?
You're saying the wrong thing. Yeah, they're stormtroopers.
You said that they were junkyard whatever.
I thought you were talking about the Junkyard Guardians.
Oh, that's what I was talking about, so you gave me the name and I was repeating it. The guys that shoot the blue missiles at you.
Yes, they're Purge troopers.
Okay, so a bunch of Purge troopers and all that. I enjoyed that battle.
In a Jeep.
The Bull Rancor, not as much.
Oh yeah, that was
because you're fighting the Bull Rancor and who is it? Shock.
What about Maris Brood? Like, talk about looking like you're going to turn to the dark side before you turn to the dark side. Like, Jesus Christ.
Maris Brood was terrifying looking.
I know.
Yeah, but in a weirdly attractive way.
She had black hair and red horns. What
and
more
a white
do you want?
face.
And she was an apprentice of a Jedi. I was like, well, she's going to be a bad guy.
Yeah, Yoda should have spotted, shouldn't he? Like,
yeah,
maybe she wasn't gonna. But there was too much hate in her. You know what I mean? Like, so they say that anger leads to hate.
Hate leads
to suffering. You know what I mean? So you see the lineage here of feeling, of emotion. We need to.
Is that what Yoda was talking about?
Yeah.
Oh,
anger leads to hate.
It's not as bad as your Chewbacca.
Don't you remember it from episode? Is it episode 1? He has that line.
Yeah.
In the council with Samuel L. Jackson. Brilliant movie, by the way. I don't care what you say.
I love
1999.
Yeah.
Whatever I was, 12-year-old Tom loved it.
Phantom Menace. I think I went and saw it at the theater 3 or 4 times.
Fuck yeah.
Loved it. Pod racing. I wanted to be a pod racer when I grew up.
The fight at the end with Darth Maul is like one of my favourite scenes, actually, in Star Wars.
Now, see, I can say that Revenge of the Sith is shit, but I love the lightsaber duel at the end. I think that is so good.
Very well choreographed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's real cool. Apart from at the end where he goes, oh, it's over, I have the hang gun. And goes, oh, well, I'll jump at you anyway, and then you just get chopped to bits.
It became the biggest meme of all time.
And then just to make matters worse, he falls in some bloody lava. Idiot.
Idiot. Going back to the lightsaber battles, I think one of the problems with... Because Star Wars games are always a bit of a mixed bag. There have been some fantastic Star Wars games, there's been some fucking terrible Star Wars games. And for me, I think one of the struggles they're always going to have with Star Wars games and lightsaber battles is... Lightsaber... If you get struck with a lightsaber, it is going through you and killing you. And... In a lightsaber-based game, that would be very dull if every single enemy you attacked, it just went straight through. So the lightsaber is always kind of treated like a sword, where you could get multiple hits on an enemy, and I don't think there's ever going to be a way for them to get around that.
No, they just need to own it.
Like
One-hit kills.
Dismemberment, my friend. That's what we need.
I definitely think going like a Dark Souls-y route would be cool with the lightsaber stuff.
They would.
Have it so that
I
it
really
really
think that would
fucking
work.
hurts.
If
Yeah.
What about if they did like the Surge, Tom, where they have the dismemberment mechanic, like
Yes.
with lightsabers?
Wait, the Surge
that
has
would be
dismemberment?
For those who haven't played,
Yeah,
the
you'd
Surge
love
has
it.
dismemberment. You can target limbs.
You'd
So
really
it's
like it.
It plays like Dark Souls, but you can target limbs, and then if you do enough damage to them, you can chop them off, and it's brilliant.
Well, I know what I'm playing this afternoon.
That's one of the better PS Plus games recently for me.
You know, has anybody ever played For Honor?
Yeah, it wasn't
Yes,
very good.
briefly, but
No,
I
it
couldn't
wasn't
get
brilliant,
into
but
it.
the combat is could work with a lightsaber fight. Like kind of like that blocking and things. And
Yeah.
I
would quite
downloaded
like
on
that.
PS Plus and I couldn't get away with it, but
There
it could work.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but like in the arcades, there used to be a Star Wars game where it's first person with a lightsaber, and you're
Like
against
Connect Star Wars.
you're against Darth Vader, and
Oh,
you have
Connect
like I think it's just,
Star Wars, no.
I never played that. Was it good?
No. I've never played it either, but it's notorious.
Sounds
for
like
being
it could have
terrible.
been. No.
Have you not seen the dance? Have you not seen the dance bits on it?
Oh yeah,
They take-
Han Solo,
they take-
we're going solo.
Yeah, they take popular songs and add Star Wars lyrics to them, and they are as bad as they sound.
Guys, have you ever played Star Wars Republic Commando?
Yes, I love that game.
Yeah, that game was great. That was an FPS, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was really clever because it was an FPS, but it was squad based, and you had commands for your squad. You could send them places and things.
What with
was
the
cool.
headset? Was
No,
it like-
with them like commands on the controller. But
Oh, okay.
You could like get them to do certain things, and at the time it was just so cool because you're like, wow, I'm ordering these people around, and
The power's going to my head.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think
I remember.
the best Star Wars game ever is probably Lego Star Wars.
It's what?
Lego Star Wars.
Yeah.
My Lego Star Wars are cool. I've just read here. I've completely forgot this was a thing. So Starkiller is a playable character in Soul Calibur 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which was actually
Wow.
released before The Force Unleashed.
Interesting.
Wasn't Darth and Yoda in it as well? There's been in one of them.
Yeah,
Yes.
in one of them. Yeah.
There's a special edition of one of them, I think.
So here's something
Now,
interesting about the game as well.
I'm a big fan of the original Star Wars Battlefront games. That's what I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, we were just given the second one of those for free on Games with Gold on Xbox last month. I keep meaning to boot it up.
What was your interesting fact, Mike?
Oh, no, interesting thing here. So 2 weeks after the game's... This is straight from Wikipedia. So it's 2 weeks after the game's release, there was 2 downloadable expansion packs for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 versions. The first one was a load of character skins, so like Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Darth Maul, and things like that. That they were added due to kind of fans' feedback. But the second expansion pack added a new mission that expands on Starkiller's background. Although a moment in the game's story was considered as a jumping-off point for the expansion, LucasArts decided to just let you play at any point you wanted. Which is based on the Jedi Temple in Coruscant, but it appears in the Wii, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation Portable versions, but was cut during the planning of PS3 and Xbox 360. But then 2 weeks later, just released it anyway, which seems strange.
Huh.
All about that dollar.
Yeah. Sure is.
Interesting. I've been looking up because obviously I didn't play much of it this week. I'm just trying to find some bits and bobs on it, and I'm just looking. The guy who plays Starkiller is Sam Witwer, who's just voiced the main character in Days Gone, and
All right.
he also voiced Palpatine in this game as well. So the scenes where he and Palpatine are against each other, it's him doing both voices.
Wow.
But something that's really interesting about him I wanted to bring up, because I looked at his filmology and looked to see like what else he's done. But there's a few things on there that I recognise, but something really caught my eye. In 2015, he was involved with something called Wrestling Isn't Wrestling. I have no idea what that is. But he voices China.
What?
Yeah. China's a wrestler, Eric, not the country.
Oh, I think. How do you give?
For those of you who are not into the wrestling, China was
Female.
was she was female, this huge muscled female, and like apparently he voices her.
All right.
Which is
That's so
strange.
random.
Yeah.
That is so random.
The audio voice acting on this was terrible, I thought,
Yeah,
at times.
I was about to say.
Which is interesting as well, because Sam Witwer himself has been involved with Star Wars quite a bit. There's quite a few of the cartoons and stuff he's done with. I've been looking at this as well.
It was just very,
the only
it was
person,
very quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was mixed very badly.
Yeah, it must have been because I had to have subtitles. I mean, I put subtitles on anyway for every game if I can, but without them, I don't know how you could hear
There was
anything.
one bit with subtitles where Juno Eclipse was talking, and she had this massive speech, and it just took up like half of the screen because the subtitles were just for this entire speech rather than coming up when she was talking.
And it's in like bold yellow, isn't it? This is before subtitles had that standard font now that you always see. Like really.
I don't remember the subtitles being big, bold yellow.
Oh really?
I think they're blue, aren't they?
Mine were
Mine
yellow
were
or
white.
big bold. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Lord. What was everybody's favorite level?
You know, I didn't like the junk. I didn't dislike the junk planet as much as I thought I would, because you guys were saying that it sucked.
I thought it really slowed the pace of the game down. Like things just weren't as responsive in there.
I was disappointed that you had to go back there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they reused the environment. I quite like the Felucia. Is it Felucia
Yeah.
planet where it's all plant based? That was quite cool. The Death Star level, apart from the bit at the start, was pretty damn cool.
I don't know. I think my favorite was TIE Factory. Just because you can pick up
Oh,
TIE
yeah.
fighters and throw them around.
That was cool.
Yeah, you can get yourself a nice dicky bow there as well, right, mate?
Well, obviously, I only played
Adding
up
it
to
to the book,
Junk Planet,
guys.
so I only played up to the Junk Planet. So, of the first 3 levels that I played, it was the TIE Fighter Factory.
Now, what colour lightsaber did we all choose?
By the end, I was using the unstable purple.
I was using the unstable green. It was like
I
a
wanted-
really
I wanted
distorted
a green
looking.
lightsaber.
Yeah.
I was red. I stuck with the red for quite a while with the unstable red, and then when
Nice.
he became more Jedi, I was like, I can't. Well, thematically, I can't have a red lightsaber now, because everybody will know. So I switched to blue, and then purple, and then I found the black lightsaber on the last level, so I used the black lightsaber.
I was going to say, that was my next question. Did you unlock the black?
Yeah, it's relatively easy to find. Actually, it's just up the top of the Death
You
Star.
wanted the green. You wanted the green. Guys. Yeah, well, there was 3 different green ones as well. 3. There's 3 of
I'll
them.
be at all 3.
And you could get little modifiers for your lightsabers as well to make them like more lightning damage or
to make them more green.
more green, more lime.
Lime green lightsaber.
Did you guys like Cloud City as a level?
It was short.
I liked
Well,
how you
sure,
finally
but
got
it was
introduced to the flying stormtroopers, and if you would force hold them long enough, they would, or no, if you shot the lightning at them long enough, they'd explode.
Yeah, the jetpack goes off and they go.
Yeah. Did you guys see Lando there?
No.
Me neither. I wish he had been there.
I thought you were about to give us some sort of Easter egg then. Damn it, Tom.
Good one, Tom. I like it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, I think it's probably one of the better games we've played this year so far.
Better than Gex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Better than
Yeah, I think so.
Ghostbusters.
Much better than Ghostbusters.
But not better than Symphony of the Night.
No.
No, how could it be?
I wasn't on that
guess.
show and I friggin' loved that game, by the way. I'm just saying that.
Well, you should have been
Oh,
on. Then we
yeah.
would want to listen to your opinion.
You never want to listen to my opinion.
No, you're right. We don't. Who's got the Facebook page pulled up?
Sure have. Okay. The first comment was just a picture of Stephanie with all capitals, I'm ready, and a picture of the DS version. Good luck with that.
Good.
Mark Marchetti says, so who of you have played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the best Star Wars game, though a longer RPG to get through for the show?
Oh, I love
I've
that
not
game.
played KOTOR 1, but I have played KOTOR 2.
I have
to
never
death.
played any of the KOTOR games. People at my work keep telling me to play the Old Republic, like the MMO. The BioWare
the
MMO,
voice acting
which
in that
apparently
was fantastic.
No, but it's not just an MMO where it's just random quests. It's a full story.
Yeah.
Apparently it's excellent.
I played a good chunk of it and it was really good, but I just can't get on with MMOs.
No, I get it.
Knights of the Old Republic 2, it's kind of one of those games where I would play it again and again because you can play through it in so many different ways. You can be a Sith, you can be a neutral Jedi, you can be full Jedi. Sith is the way forward, by the way. And you can what's really cool about it is if you go more towards the dark side and you do the right dialogue choices, you can corrupt your people you work with, and they turn to the dark side. And
Nice.
Some of them don't, but some of them go full Sith, and then they can become Jedis and use lightsabers and things, and it's a really good game. I think people didn't like the second one as much as the first, which is interesting, but I really love the second.
I've played the first hour of the first one, and it's a game that because I've never owned an Xbox before. It was I played the first hour of it at a friend's house years and years and years ago, and it's one that I've always wanted to return to. And it's on Game Pass. I think we should think about playing it for the show at some point. But it's going to be it's going to be at least a 2-weeker.
Oh yeah. What I really wanted if they ever do Knights of the Old Republic 3 is I kind of want a combat system. I've always said this sort of like the Force Unleashed, but with the RPG elements of Knights of the Old Republic, and I think that would be
I don't think
incredible.
they're going to make a third one because it's EA who's got the Star Wars license, and they just keep cancelling games, don't they? So
yes.
Yeah, true.
Well, they said for Jedi Fallen Order that it's not going to have microtransactions or any bullshit, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, but you can't create games with loads and loads of bullshit and then expect to be praised because you're now going, well, this one won't have bullshit.
Oh yeah, I agree.
That's
I wish they'd take it off EA and give it to a better studio, but
that's like spending 10 hours of one day having someone shove shit into your face and then at the end of it go, oh, tomorrow I'm not going to put shit in your face, and you go, oh, you're so lovely for that.
I can't stand it when EA takes over people. Like BioWare, what's happening with Anthem is such a shame, but you can tell it's all coming from EA.
I believe EA have got another 5 years on the Star Wars license. Yeah, because they took it over in 2013, so they've got, and it was a 10-year license. So
give it Insomniac.
Yeah, right. Cody Halverson. I'm going to have to apologise for not getting further than the game they did. I beat the guy that looked like Dr. Octopus, and Yoda had a secret love child that they ditched in a space dumpster, and then I had to call it quits due to time constraints. I know I talked a lot of trash on the controls of the Wii version, which I still stand by, but playing this game again actually made me like it a little more. Don't get me wrong, I still don't think it's a great game, but I did have fun messing with the different force abilities and special moves. I'd ask Eric what Eric thought, but I'm assuming it's already come up by this point in the show instead. Instead, I'd like to know if there are any games that you all have gone back to that you actually ended up liking more. This is the only one that comes to mind for me, but I know a lot of people who have gone back to games they found boring as kids and now love them due to anything from a better understanding of the plot or simply nostalgia. Keep up the great work. So, a game you didn't really enjoy and then went back to and found that you enjoyed it?
That's a tough one.
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy IX for me. I never ever could really get on with, despite nearly finishing it, I could never ever get on with Final Fantasy IX. And then when we finally did it for the show last year, I want to say, I actually started to enjoy the characters and start the plot and enjoy the plot. And I still don't. I still stand by that. I prefer 7 and 8 more, but I definitely enjoyed Final Fantasy IX when we did it for the show.
I think to jump on the Final Fantasy bandwagon with that, though, too, for me, it would be Final Fantasy VI. Because I've had the 3 cartridge for a long, long time. I know I've tried to emulate it, or tried getting through playing it in an emulator as a kid, and just never really got on with it. But when Kevin and I played it for the show, I friggin' love that game. Also, Chrono Trigger. That one never really played much as a kid, and would always start it and obviously never finish it.
I bought and played and tried to get into Harvest Moon, Friends of Middletown on GBA, and I wasn't really into it, to be honest, at all. And then when we played it for the show, I kind of gave it the time it needed, and what with, obviously having an impending show and needing to play a decent amount of it to talk about it, I kind of forced myself, and then I ended up actually just really liking it. And I ended up continuing to play it even after we'd done the show on it, which that's always a good feeling. When it's like, okay, I didn't finish this game or I didn't get far enough on this game, but I'm going to carry on with it. So,
What about on the opposite end of the spectrum, games you just can't get on with?
for Eric, I think that's Resident Evil 4, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I've tried. I've literally tried to play that game half a dozen times. Just never really get on with it.
For me, it's
When we do it for the show, try the Wii version, Eric.
Okay.
For me, it's the majority of 3D Zeldas. Unfortunately, just struggle to get on with them.
Twilight
You and
Prince-
Breath of the Wild, man. It just astounds me still.
Yeah, that I don't understand. I can understand the other 3D Zeldas. Twilight Princess is just not the finest outing.
There's a really good review from Jim Sterling on Breath of the Wild, which he says it's a good game. I stand by it. It's a good game, but his comments on why he wouldn't say it was as great as most people think it is, I kind of side
it has
with.
its faults for sure. And
Would you say, sorry?
I agree. It has its faults for sure, and I watched that same video, and I did agree with a lot of the faults he brought up, but I think the rest of the game is so good, despite the faults, that it still stands on its merits of being, one of the greatest games of all time. No game is perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say recently Sekiro.
Oh yeah.
Done.
Always Deus Ex Human Revolution for me. I cannot get into that game.
Oh yeah, the Deus Ex series in general. I should really like that based on its premise, but I can't get into them.
Me
Mankind
too. I
Divided.
don't like the gameplay.
Did you try Mankind Divided? That's really hard to get into as well.
I downloaded it and couldn't bring myself to play it.
Yeah.
Eric just got Dragon's Dogma on Switch, and I couldn't get into that.
Oh, let me talk about that for a minute.
Oh.
Dan, how far did you ever
Set
really
off
make
now.
it into it, though?
Not very far.
So there is a very steep barrier to entry, and I'm just over the crest of that. And my God, this game is fun. The whole pawn system is so cool. You don't actually get to play online with other people, but you get to create your own pawn. That when you're not playing, this pawn goes out into this ethereal...
I do like creating my own pawn.
You know what? I was waiting for it. I knew you were going to say it.
When you're not playing the game, your pawn goes out into this ethereal realm and can be summoned by other players to just help them in their game. So you can have a party of up to 4 people, yourself, your personal pawn, and then 2 others that you summon to kind of create this band of merry people that run around and do all this adventuring. But your pawn can go out and gather experience and come back stronger. I'm saying pawn, Dan, not porn.
I know, but it sounds like porn.
Soldering pawn. He's a pawn who solders, right?
Mega Man shit.
No. But the
Mega Man needs to learn how to shoot up.
What, take heroin? That's a bit dark for the Mega Man franchise.
Add that one to the book, Mike.
I think if you really gave this a shot, Dan, you would probably really enjoy it. It's just got an overwhelming number of things to do. The combat in it,
I probably would. As it came out on PS4.
Yeah, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen.
Oh yeah.
I would seriously give it a shot because it has that level of difficulty that you get out of the Souls games, but it's also got that soul of adventuring, kind of like in the Elder Scrolls, where you've got this massive open world that you can go and explore with different cities. But
I know it ticks all the boxes of a game I should like, but I just don't know. When I played it, I don't know if maybe I got distracted by something else, or I just hit a brick wall and I couldn't be bothered with it. Or...
Without spending too much time on it, it is a bit frustrating because once you leave a town and go out into the world, it saves the game. But if you die, anything that you've done between the time you left that last town,
that's what the issue was.
You lose all of that progress, and you can't just quick save on the fly. It's kind of overwhelming in that aspect, and fast travel isn't unlocked until really far into the game. I think I'm 4 or 5 hours in and still don't have fast travel. And going from one town to the next is extremely perilous, especially if you don't have all of your pawns with you.
So what you're saying is always take your pawn with you.
Yes, always have pawn with you.
But
yeah,
maybe use private browsing for that.
Nah, risk it. Download them all.
No, that's only for buying gifts for your family and things, Mike. Didn't you watch the adverts?
Yeah.
But to answer your question for me, Dan, Skyrim. I just can't get on with it.
Oh.
Fallout 4 is kind of like that for me. I just never got on with it either.
Oh, the Fallout games, yeah. I wish I could get into those, but I just can't. I just fucking can't.
I think I'm just going to have to get to a point where I admit that I don't like Bethesda RPGs, because I tried Fallout 3, I played it for a while, then got bored of it, so I just finished the story.
3 is a
Same with
janky
Fallout 4.
pile. New Vegas is pretty good.
I did the same with 4, where I played it for hours and hours on end. I just got to a point where, right, I'm just going to finish the story now. Skyrim, I even bought on Switch because I thought, well, the portability, that will probably help me play it. I tried to start it 3, maybe 4 times and didn't get very far at all, and just went not for me. I very recently plowed 40 hours into it, like at work on the Switch, and I went through moments where I was like, you know what, yeah, I want to play some Skyrim, I want to do a bit more, and then I got around that 40-hour mark, and I was like, I'm just not enjoying myself. Why am I wasting all this time?
Do you know what the problem is with Bethesda games? Like, I think always the loot is rubbish. Like, you'll go through an entire dungeon thinking, oh, I'll get an epic new sword at the end of this or something, and you just get something which is terrible and generally worse than what you have already. That's how I always find it.
I just like those open worlds where you can run around and steal shit from people and sell it back to them. I can't tell you how many times. Every time I go into a new town in Dragon's Dogma, I sneak upstairs behind the shopkeeper, steal all their shit, walk downstairs, and immediately sell it back to them.
My favourite thing to do on Skyrim is when you pick up a bucket and you put it over a shopkeeper's head, and then somehow they can't see you stealing things.
Amazing.
I've realised as well one of the major gameplay mechanics of those games that does turn me off, and like I'm not saying I would still enjoy it without it, but it definitely turns me off, is the carrying capacity. Because like sometimes you can go in and you spend 20 minutes just organising your inventory just because like your carry capacity is nearly full.
Don't play Monster Hunter World.
Yeah,
I just started playing Monster Hunter World, and yeah, there is a lot of that inventory management.
See, that's why, again, going back to Assassin's Creed, I like that because you can have like 450 items of armor and weapons in your at the same time, which is utterly ridiculous, like thematically, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And you can literally go in the menu and hold square, and it dismantles any items you don't want, and then you get resources to put into your ship, which is really cool.
That's cool. Another user-friendly thing that Ubisoft did with that recently, Dan, as well, that you probably just have, but it wasn't in it originally. So obviously you get different armors, so there might be an armor that's resistant to poison, but you're stuck having to wear that armor. They later added in, due to fan requests, that you could then, once you've got the armor with like the poison resistance, you can then put that on any armor you want, so that you can use the armor, cosmetically that you want, and then put that on it.
Yeah, you can also with the armors.
Ubisoft
with
are
the
doing
armors,
a lot of great things recently.
With the armors, if you've unlocked a certain type of armor and you don't like how it appears, you can swap to a different style as well. So, but then you still get the bonuses from it. I don't do that personally, but because I like to mix it up with the armors and stuff. But what they've also done is increase the level cap from 50 to 70. So I'm level 49 now, and I'm thankful they've done that because I'm still going to be playing it for a good while. And I don't like hitting the level cap. Did
you get the DLC that you level up quicker?
No.
Because there was a DLC you could buy. I think it's only a couple of dollars where you just level up quicker, which is great.
I refuse to buy on principle.
It's cheating. I think if you're short of time and you want to get through the game, I don't think it's that bad.
It's bullshit. They could have just put it in as a feature. They don't need to charge for it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
And one last comment, and Tom, this will be some feedback from the DS version. This is from Stephanie again. I hope one of y'all tried playing this on DS. I want to hear how you felt about having to use a touchscreen for every action that wasn't movement brackets D-pad. I just couldn't get used to it. It was too difficult to hold the DS and play. I kept dropping it. So there's some feedback for the DS version for you.
God, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, let's not play that.
No. But yeah, with Ubisoft, another quick tidbit on those guys is like when Telltale was going through all that shit, they put out a tweet to say, look, any talent from Telltale, we're going to have a meeting at our offices in California. Like, you're all welcome. You'll get beer and pizza, and let's talk about what you guys could possibly do at Ubisoft. I thought that was really cool. So They're good guys.
What I'm
They've
thankful
really
is
turned
that
it
they've
around.
started doing for Assassin's Creed as well. They've put it on a cycle now, so they're not churning them out every year.
Yeah,
So
they've really turned it around with the stuff they're doing.
I think that was the best decision they've ever made. And well, I'm interested to see what they do with Watch Dogs, which is rumoured to be coming out this year. And rumoured to be in London.
Oh!
Wow!
Oh, guy, did you? Right, this is completely off topic, right? But you just mentioned London. It just reminded me. So the London Marathon was it this week? No, last weekend. And some guy ran as a giant Big Ben costume. Well, the tower, which obviously the bell is Big Ben, but whatever. And he got a much lower time than he should have got because his costume was too big to get under the finish line. And they had to help him out of it to get him under the finish line. How much
Poor
more
guy.
British can you get?
Yeah, right. Brilliant.
So I've got an exclusive for Watch Dogs 3, guys. It's going to have an NPC in who looks really, really sad, and that's me. They asked me to be in it. If you scan my NPC, it just says "I hate London."
No. Dan. You liked
And
it
London
better the
hates
second
you.
time.
Only because we were all there. Bless him.
Yeah.
Well, guys, what is next on our list?
Fable.
Fable.
The overpromised
Fable.
and mediocrely delivered Fable.
Fable.
For those that
hang
can't understand what we're saying Fable.
This is next.
Playing OG Fable. Tell me they can't see us.
Tom, we're not live, so no one's getting
but
a
he
video
showed it to
recording
us
of
in case
this.
we don't-
Oh, I know. I just thought I'd show you guys because you're asking.
All right. Okay.
There you go.
I'm glad you're playing the original version, Tom, because that is by far the cheapest, and that's what I'm going to buy.
It is the cheapest, yes.
Do you know what is the cheapest?
it is
Downloading it
one-
on Game Pass.
So
No,
I'm trying to
it's
figure out
good.
what I'm playing. Fable Anniversary. What are the differences?
It was
It's got a
remastered
manual.
for the 360.
Make
It's
sure
a
you
remaster.
read
That's
the,
all it was,
guys.
So it's
I'm gonna be
essentially
asking
that and
questions
the
on
lost
manual.
chapters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to be asking you questions on a lot of this, so just make
Well,
sure.
Tom, I'll have you know, on the anniversary version, you can actually access that instruction manual from the title screen.
What are those?
'Cause I had a quick
Tom, what's
look.
that book you're holding up?
It's the Fable manual, but it's got loads of lore
Yeah,
in
but
there.
what's
and,
what's a manual?
It's like an automatic, but you have to do it yourself.
Oh yeah. Look, here are the buttons on the Duke.
You mean there's books that tell you the buttons?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, if you
You're gonna
opened
need
your
this
games, you'd know.
You're going to need this one, Eric.
Sharpening the ceremonial unsealing sword.
Jesus, why didn't anybody tell me this as a kid? I spent all that time just pressing one button.
Oh, don't forget
Did
about
we-
the awareness eye as well. You need that.
Yeah, you should always be aware of the eye.
Yeah. well,
Did we agree that we're doing this in 3 weeks rather than 2 weeks?
Correct. So we will be.
What is
off.
this? What is this?
That's a guy covering his
just
junk.
Oh, okay. It's a guy covering his junk.
Yeah, so we
All
will
right.
be.
I've started Fable.
I started it
and
last night.
If you lot don't all call your character Arseface, I'm going to be disappointed.
I don't think I got to name my
Arseface.
character.
No, there's a guy outside the guild. There's a guy that you can pay money to change what all the NPCs call you. Because originally you're just Chicken Chaser.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the cheapest options is Arseface. So as you're walking through like the towns and stuff, people are going, "Oh, there he is, Arseface."
So we're playing this on May 26th, and I will actually be in Toronto with Tom.
Yeah. Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
Rated M for mature.
Thanks, Tom.
May the 26th
You know what? I
be
think
with you.
I think I'm away on the 26th.
No.
Oh, no. You got to join us.
We already
for
talked
Fabla.
about this.
You got to. Look at it.
Yeah, but I actually have a holiday booked, I think.
Nah.
Yeah, to do this.
Yeah.
We talked
All right,
about this.
I'll cancel everything, guys.
Probably.
I'll be back.
So that's coming up, and then we're doing something about a kid and his blob, and then we're getting into Kingdom Hearts.
We'll do them both.
Yeah.
Do both games.
Yeah. A kid and his
There's
blob.
one on the NES and one on the Game Boy.
Yeah. Okay.
You can use your new backlit Game Boy.
But then I have to go
Yes.
buy it.
Yeah? You love buying
'cause
games.
You love buying shit you don't
I
need.
love buying games, yes. What's the Game Boy one called?
Let me have a look.
A boy
A boy and his Johnson. A Game Boy and his Blob, I think it's called.
It's not called that at all.
They've missed an opportunity there, Tom.
I know,
It's
right?
called Rescue of Princess Blobette.
What?
Starring a boy and his blob.
You guys played the sequel? A girl on her blob?